And let's go. How's it going, guys? I am attorney Michael Ehline. I am a lawyer licensed in California and Texas. Right now, I primarily specialize in personal injury cases with military veterans. So I help out the Leathernecks Motorcycle Club if they get in motorcycle accidents. And I also have a military veterans nonprofit called the Paul Ehline Memorial Ride, named after my father, who died from Agent Orange poisoning, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, as a result of being exposed to toxic chemicals that our government told us were safe and effective. So I've got a lot of experience dealing with the government and being lied to about the reasons why we get into wars, like the Gulf of Tonkin, which never happened, which got us into the Vietnam War, which ultimately ended up in me losing my father. But as a result of my father being a United States Marine, I too joined the United States Marine Corps as an infantryman and was injured during a training exercise and blew out my knee. And now I'm a 70% disabled veteran. And I'm all about the military and supporting our troops. And it's okay to support your troops and not support the government. So that's something you guys all should understand is I am a libertarian. I'm a recovering Democrat. I was a Democrat when the Democrat Party supported America and didn't receive funding from the communist Chinese and weren't burning American flags and trying to destroy our cities. Give me a bunch of ones if you're an old school Democrat like me, turned libertarian. And so today I'm gonna cover a really cool video that I found from Valhalla, which this guy is a former United States Green Beret, so a U.S. Army Green Beret. And so I'll tell you a little bit about what Green Berets are in a minute. But what I wanted to cover is how terrible the discipline was of the troops in the first parade compared to how it was even when I went to regular parades as a child and saw the Army. They had much more discipline than they have today. And then the protocols by Pete Hegseth, and where I feel that he made a lot of bungles and just sort of disrespected our troops in a way. Nothing against him. I mean, I think he's better than any Department of Defense head that we've had in years. He's getting rid of all the woke bullshit and recruiting numbers are back up because men don't want to be led by dudes wearing dresses. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. So let me just adjust my cam a little bit here to try to get. And I am also a pro Second Amendment rights attorney. So you can see I got my Mini 14 back there and I got my modded out AR and I got the iron sights on that bad chicken because I like iron sights. I do have an ACOG that I also use. And then I'll put those sights on sideways so I can, I can use them. If my ACOG goes out, I can flip it over. But I represent Dick Heller of the famous seminal case of DC versus Heller. I was not his attorney when that case went down. He was actually introduced to me by Alan Beck, who works with my firm. And Alan actually has an amicus brief that was filed by the Department of Justice joining him in a recent lawsuit that he has in Hawaii against the Hawaiian government trying to deprive we the people of the right to keep and bear arms. So it's okay to support your troops and your country and not support the government. And I do believe that we do need 3 or 4 or 5 political parties, not just Republicans and communist Democrats in our country, because ultimately the more discord you have, the less laws get passed. And I believe that we should be electing people who believe that less government is more freedom. So it's good seeing all you guys. Let's OTVO. We got BZ Watchdog. We got with his typical obnoxious, stupid comments, and then SW Observer. And so I appreciate you joining me, SW Observer. And by the way, I am also a Viking warrior. I'm also Swedish and Norwegian, a little bit of German, a little bit of Scottish, but primarily my dad was 100% Swede and my mom had the other mixtures. But then, of course, we also know that the Scots have a lot of Swede in them, and Norwegian. So I'm pretty much just a Scandinavian Viking warrior, svenska SWE, and I'm super, super happy to see you. And I definitely want you guys to say a prayer for everybody in the world right now with this war that may end up becoming World War III, with the Mossad and Israeli government attacking Iran. And now we know, since we had an open border for the last 4 years, that the Iranians could have smuggled in weapons of mass destruction. And they very well could have brought in a suitcase nuke or a dirty bomb. So definitely frightened about that. So say a prayer for America that we'll have a secure border once again, and we'll find these sleeper cells and get them out of our country. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is, well, let me tell you about Green Berets. Okay. Contrary to popular opinion, the United States Marines, the Continental Marines, were our first force multipliers, not the Army Green Berets. They were authorized later on. I believe that John F. Kennedy authorized them to be a permanent force within the U.S. Army. So hopefully my friend over at Valhalla is watching me. But the United States Marines were our first force multipliers, and I'm going to tell you what that is. So a force multiplier is a situation where a Marine expeditionary force would go into a place like Tripoli, where we had hostages being held, and that they would form an alliance with tribes and other people who were opposed to the government in their country, and we would train them and try and discipline them as best as we could, and have them march with us and work as what we call a force multiplier, and that's what the Green Berets do. And you can distinguish them from the Army Rangers, who I also have an amazing amount of respect for, especially the 75th Rangers, of whom I have many friends who are former 75th Rangers. And obviously, Marines, we love combat oriented. It's a combat oriented organization. So I always look up to guys like Rangers and Green Berets, because out of the Army, which is a large force of people, because they need bodies, the Green Berets and the Rangers are badasses. There's no question about it. Now, MARSOC, when it was stood up, I believe in 2006, the MARSOC basically started training like Green Berets, and a lot of their protocols and procedures were based upon Green Beret training, but with that devil dog spirit, right? Which is the gung-ho, do or die devil dog spirit. And we get that from our basic training, where we learn about discipline. We take pride in our drill, because we believe that shows that we're disciplined. And I'm going to show you the difference between Army marching and Marine marching, so you'll get a better understanding, because a lot of people think that there's no difference between the Army and the Marine Corps. This particular parade today is a parade celebrating the Army's birthday. And I haven't watched the full 4-hour video, but and because of that, I don't know if there are any sailors or Marines in there. But Marines are a maritime force primarily designed for amphibious assaults, and they're America's expeditionary 911 force. So we're floating around on ships, ready to deploy at a moment's notice. Now, the Green Berets are our first officially recognized force multiplier, and that's who this guy is. And his channel is called Valhalla, and he has a company called Valhalla Firearms Training. And you can see back there, I got my Mini 14 and I got my AR set up. Got my Glock 21, my custom Terran Tactical G21 right there. And that was built for me by Terran Butler of Terran Tactical, the guy who makes the firearms for the John Wick movies. And I'm all about the Second Amendment, especially when our country floods us with foreign hostiles released from prisons in Venezuela and tries to use them to redistrict the entire country towards their political party using the census, which I believe is high treason. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree that the census should not be used in such a way that we allow foreign hostiles into our country to try and turn our country towards a particular political party in a sanctuary city, where they pick up 5, 10, or 20 House seats and turn us into a single party system like communist China. We don't want that. Team MP is all about less government is more freedom. The more political parties you have, the better. So what I'm going to talk about today, though, is when I was growing up as a little boy, my dad would take me to all the Marine Corps parades. I'd go to Marine Corps Air Station in El Toro, MCASH, which means helicopter. It was a helicopter station in Tustin. And that is where they had the big blimp hangars. You guys who are from Tustin and Orange County, California, know all about that, as well as the El Toro Marine Corps Air Station. Even though they were air wingers and they have less discipline than the infantry Marines, my dad was combat arms. He was an 0848. He was one of the smart ones, the guy who dialed in the formulas on the cannons. And he also got secondaried as a forward observer because they took so many casualties. My dad was at Khe Sanh, Cantien, Jiolin, Dong Ha, Da Nang, DMZ, and he would go out with the Force Reconnaissance Marines as well as Navy SEALs at least a few times. And what he did is he would pass out Bibles to the Hmong villagers and stuff like that and witness to them. So my dad was a believer He was a Christian, and he wanted to save souls. And I think that's one of the ways he was able to get through that terrible war that we were lied to about by our government. Remember, the Gulf of Tonkin never happened. It was completely made up. And that's what got us into that war. But that doesn't diminish the value of the service that our troops gave to this country. Because when I joined the Corps, and I'm sure when BZ joined the Corps and Let's OTVO joined the Navy, we joined because we wanted to serve our fellow Americans. We wanted to make the world a safer place. We took an oath to uphold the Constitution, and we really believe in that, especially Marines. We're really big on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the warrior culture that only the Marine Corps seems to have preserved. Now, when you get into the higher speed units into the Army, like airborne units, Rangers, and Green Beret, you'll find a similar esprit de corps. So again, I really respect those guys. I also have some friends who are in the 101st as well as the 82nd. And I find that the paratroopers also have that similar esprit de corps. But the one thing that makes the Marine Corps different is you join the Army, you join the Air Force, you join the Coast Guard, you join the Navy, but you become a United States Marine. And so I have carried that legacy with me. And even though I never served in combat and I didn't get to serve a full tour because of my injuries, I always relate back to all of my success to that basic training, starting as a child with my father, and then as a Marine, as a United States Marine. Standing on that freaking parade deck and graduating was one of the most fulfilling experiences of my life. And then the second one was passing the California State Bar exam with no formal education. So I became a lawyer on the law study program, which many of you know, and I have a book about it actually called My Journey to Becoming a Practicing Attorney with No Law Degree or Undergrad. And I have a digital copy of this available if you drop the description menu down on my YouTube channel, you can pick up a digital version of this book for $19.99. You just do it through PayPal, and I'll send you a copy. And I know I have about 50 orders that I need to send, but I'm having a problem with PayPal right now. Somebody hacked in and I got blocked, so I'm trying to get back into PayPal so I can accept your payments and send out your orders, guys. So please don't cancel your orders. I'll get them out to you as soon as I can, and I appreciate you all supporting my channel. Now, anybody who has questions during this program, if I see a big orange or green, like a super chat or something like that, I'll go to those and answer those as quickly as I can. It's very difficult for me to answer every question. So if you really have a serious question or you want to promote your cause or your channel, go ahead and throw me one, even if it's $1. It doesn't matter to me. Just show some support for the channel. I'm here on a Sunday. And then as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to go out and do Newaza drills with my son, training my son to be an Olympic champion judoka. And that's sort of a little bit about my background and a little bit of the history of the Green Berets. And this guy, Valhalla, has this channel. And I just really love this guy. I think he's awesome. And I've been following and I've been a subscriber of his channel for years. So I definitely would appreciate it. And I have nothing to gain from this other than just camaraderie. I would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe to his channel and check out some of his stuff, because I think he has a similar view as me. He's against the military-industrial complex, but he's all for America. He's America first, just like me, and he loves our military. He loves our military service members. Obviously, I'm biased towards the Marine Corps and the Navy SEALs because they're part of our sister service, and I have friends who are Navy SEALs. And so, but when I was on recruiter's assistance, I hooked up with the Army recruiter's daughter, and he happened to be a Green Beret. And I learned a lot about the Green Berets from him. And although they're more relaxed and more civilian-like in nature, I know that they can get it on when they need to. But again, they're not like the Rangers where they're like a shock force. They're the smart guys. And so when you listen to this guy, I think this guy probably has a higher IQ than me, which is pretty rare for me to run across. And so I'm hoping that you'll like his breakdown of the parade yesterday, which commemorates the birthday of the U.S. Army. And I'm so proud that we're finally having military parades and celebrating patriotism again. And it's just terrible that the communist Chinese have been able to infiltrate our public school system and our colleges and brainwash a whole generation of kids to hate our country and say that America's stolen land and all this nonsense that's not true. And I definitely wanted to cover, though, some issues that I had with this parade. And so because I know a lot about military history and a lot about military law, Even though I was never a JAG officer, I totally understand the UCMJ up and down. And so today we're going to talk about DoD Directive 1005.8, Army Regulation 600-25. We're going to talk about parade etiquette for this 250th anniversary parade. And we're going to talk about Hegseth and him not standing for review as the troops passed. Just some dumb stuff that I saw. And hopefully, I'm not trying to disparage the guy, but I can definitely tell he needs to work on his etiquette. And I'm sure there's a lot of line officers, especially guys that I know, who probably have given him an earful already. So hopefully he won't be too upset at me. Hey Pete, I'm hoping that you'll take this as constructive criticism. I don't need any drone attacks or anything like that hitting my fob. Okay. So let me just see what's going on here in the sidebar. Hey, Eximir Pacheco, good seeing you. Yeah, that's right. Happy Father's Day. I didn't even know it was Father's Day. That's how crazy it is. Because to me, every day is Father's Day. Because in my culture, which is the American culture, every single day that you live as a man and have a wife and kids, it's your primary obligation to provide love, support, and protection for your wife and children. And so that's what you're going to get on this channel is a traditional apple pie American. Men are men, women are women, and there's certain roles between the sexes that make families work. And we'll talk about that in another show, or you can look at some of my other lives and get a better idea of where I'm coming from. But right now, Jody Shiloh, good seeing you, ma'am. Out freaking standing. Arr! And DZZE says that we should nuke California. That might be a little extreme because, after all, California has far more patriots in it than you could imagine. The problem is that the Democrats learned early on that you could use illegal aliens and make sanctuary cities where they would all come to, and you would promise them protection from our immigration laws. And in return, even if they don't have to work, they could get free health care, free SNAP benefits, whatever they could give them, right? And they would we promise that we're not going to enforce immigration laws. And so they would go to Democrat cities, they would split districts and pick up House seats for the Democrats. And that's why most experts say Biden flooded our country with illegal aliens to turn the entire country into a single party state. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Take a look at my poll that I put up earlier as well, and let me know if you agree that we should invalidate the Treaty of Hidalgo, where we purchased Arizona, California, I think it was New Mexico, Nevada, Utah, and a couple other ones. Arizona, did I say that already? From Mexico, and we forgave them their debts because we were loaning money to the Mexican government. They were fighting a war against Spain to win their freedom, and they were unable to provide protection for the Tejanos and the white Americans that they invited into Texas and asked them to live there. And because they weren't able to do that, the people of Texas asked us to intervene. And ultimately, there was the Mexican-American War. And the United States Marines conquered Mexico City with the U.S. Army. But the U.S. Marines in particular, during the Battle of Chapultepec Hall, conquered the Mexican Military Academy where they trained their officers. And the Mexicans were such brave fighters that they caused extreme casualties to our NCOs and officers because Marines lead from the front. Another difference between the Army. Marine officers and Marine NCOs, as a general rule, led from the front, and I think they still do. And so that red stripe that you see on the Marine Corps legs, on our trousers, that signifies the blood that we spilled at the Battle of Chapultepec Hall. A lot of people didn't know that. So hopefully you're learning a little bit of history as well. So today's a really special show for me because it gives me an opportunity to showcase my knowledge about military history and the history of this country in particular. I'm a natural law advocate. I believe that all of our rights come from a creator, just like our founding fathers did, as evidenced by the Declaration of Independence, the unanimous declaration that says that our rights come from a creator, which is part of natural law. And if you want to learn more about that, you can read about John Locke. So I'm going to also talk about cultural sensitivity, the politicization of the military, and things like that. And I'm also going to talk about AR 600-25. I already discussed that with you. And I'm going to get into standing and saluting and things like that. Protocol at a parade. And I know that a lot of you communists who hate our country, who are, being basically sponsored with Craigslist ads and getting $100 or $150 a day to show up and throw bricks at at our troops and our National Guard, you probably think that because you've been told and brainwashed to think that, well, we're just trying to be like Korea. But no, we used to have military parades all the time in this country, and it's just a show of patriotism and support for your country. So give it a rest, guys. But let me just see if there's any questions over here. And thanks, Let's OTVO, for showing up. Let's OTVO is one of my friends. He's a cop watcher, First Amendment advocate, auditor, and I really like the guy. He's about 10 feet tall, probably could pick me up and crush me into a ball of tinfoil if he wanted to. But he's a gentle giant, and I have a lot of respect for this guy, as well as Brick Jonesy and all of my friends over at Team MPE. Thank you, Gloria Ad, for showing up again and supporting the channel, as well as Esther Smith and we see Jody Shiloh and Josephine Syke and Diane Stepp. Absolutely, I agree with you, Diane. I think that you're right on the money. And then live chat, not sure who you are unless your name's really live chat, but and I do agree with you that the African Defense Force definitely were badasses, but I disagree with you that the Marines and Rangers wouldn't have a chance there. I don't think you know enough about our training to make a statement like that. I think that's a little off, but okay, you have a right to your own opinion. And then Brian and Curtis, thank you for showing up. Stomper, thanks for coming. And let me see here. Dark Unit, thanks for showing up. And it's not Trump's parade, it's our parade. It's we the people's parade. It's our military. So let's get into the parade. This guy did a 4-hour video, so I don't think I'm going to go that long, but I am going to show you what I consider to be lack of discipline, how the woke culture and DEI has sort of screwed up this parade. And I'm going to point it out to you as we go into this a little bit more. So let's get started with the first video of the day. I've queued it forward a little bit because he was waiting and trying to find where it was. So let's just get into it. Really like this guy. Again, his channel is called Valhalla, and I would appreciate it if you guys would like and subscribe to his channel and let him know that Mike Ehline sent you guys over there. Great channel, and he's really cool guy, laid back. I think he'd make a great attorney. And I'm telling you right now, Mr. Valhalla, I don't know your actual name, brother, but if you're interested in becoming a lawyer on the law study program, no problem training you to become a lawyer the way I did. I tried 3 cases to the jury before I even finished the program as a certified law student, conducted hundreds of depositions, and I also externed for the California Court of Appeal. I've been practicing law for about 20 years, but being a veteran and this being a patriotic weekend, even though you're Army, I forgive you for not being a Marine. I definitely love you and I support you in any way that I can. And I want to help you build your channel because I just think you're a really good dude. And I think that you're really evenly keeled. And so let's get into your show.
Pretty nuts, right? But this is what happens, right? So if you constantly tell 50, 70 million people that the other side is racist and homophobic and xenophobic and transphobic and everything you could possibly think, and they're evil and they're, tiny mustaches, what do you think is going to happen eventually, man? You're like purposefully radicalizing people to go out and do psychotic stuff. Drives me crazy. Just got here, bruh. You think the guy is going to be affiliated with Iran? No. So basically what happened was the 2 congressmen that were deleted, again, sorry guys, it's YouTube, broke ranks with the Democrats and voted with Republicans on the recent bill. And yeah, their own side offed them. So that's how psychotic the other side is, unfortunately. That if you even vote differently than they do, they'll delete you, I guess. I don't know. It's pretty scary, pretty crazy. World's out of control. I got a bunch of different live streams we can watch today. I want to find a No Kings protest one right now. We can watch before the military parade gets started. No Kings protest live. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Let's see what we got.
I'm gonna make a beat for NBA YoungBoy.
One sec. Didn't get myself all the way set up. Was rushed to get on. Give me one sec, guys. redo this real quick. All right.
Kids are asleep, Codebug. Kids are
Going
asleep.
to Output's new plugin
Let's see
co-producer.
what's going on here. No King's
Thank
protest.
you for joining us on WFA Plus. I'm Mark Histrook, and the time is 11:30, and
How's
we
the
are
audio?
streaming with
Let me
you
know.
this morning as rallies
Is it loud
get
enough?
underway across North Texas in protest of government policies, several, including in Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, and Denton. Joining those
Okay,
across
good.
the nation with more than 2,000 of these protests planned, all part of
2,000
the
protests
so-called No
planned,
Kings
guys.
movement.
Insurrectionists,
Mobilization
paid for by
aimed
communist
Just like
China.
announcing that
100%.
these are
Donald
paid
Trump's
for.
military parade in Washington, D.C., celebrating
even
the
trying to hide it
250th
anymore.
anniversary of the U.S. Army and the president's 79th birthday. Now, we have so far seen protests in Frisco
Is
and
my cam a little
Arlington
fuzzy?
earlier this morning.
It might
Another
be.
one underway right now in Denton.
I
That's
grabbed
where
it and
Chris
adjusted
Oddie
real
joins
quick.
us
We'll
live
check it
today.
here in a
Chris, I
sec.
know that you were on
Make
the
sure
ground in
it's-
Frisco earlier. Now you
Thanks
are
for
in
the heads
Denton, as
up.
we just
We'll
told
fix
our
it here in a
viewers.
sec.
Any difference that you were seeing this morning between
Look
those
at
two
that. All right.
crowds?
Rainbow flags, bubbles.
Well, Mark, a difference in the setup, yes. In Frisco,
ISIS
if you saw
Gestapo.
earlier, they were lined up along the street
Okay.
sides, both sides with their signs, chanting, cars honking their horns. Here on the Denton County Square, they started with a rally. Speakers were up on stage
Everybody
talking
looks
about the purpose behind the
exactly
protest.
like you would
And
expect
now
them
the
to
people
look.
with their signs,
There
the
you go, right there
protesters,
behind
are
him.
making a loop around the courthouse square, but still a very similar energy
Just
and a
a
very
bunch
similar
of liberal
purpose.
white women.
People with the same
All
reasoning
paid
in both
for.
areas as to why
All bought
they
and
wanted
paid
to
for.
come
Your
out
tax
to
dollars.
voice their
Interesting how
frustration
this
The
votes the same
with
thing
the
in every
government, with the
protest.
administration,
All
with the
paid
direction
protesters,
of
all
the
paid
country.
rioters.
And here on the Denton Square, as the cars are making their ways
not yet,
around, they
Stephen.
are
We'll see when
also
I get to it.
honking
We
their
might put it up. I
horns.
don't know
So
if it'll be
really,
relevant
in both of the
in
spots
today's
that we've been
episode.
this morning, we've seen a lot of energy. You can see the bubble makers
bubble party,
going,
boys.
just a really festive
Parade
attitude,
starting.
really. A lot of people cheering, a lot of people screaming, having their voices heard. Now, I will say in both
right, let's check the
Frisco
camera
and
real
Denton,
quick.
it
Are you sure it's
wasn't a
fuzzy?
huge police presence, but we definitely have seen law enforcement here in Denton. They're on the square. The Denton
good.
police officers, Denton County sheriffs, they're making sure nobody is obstructing the roadways.
Should be
They
all
want
right.
these protests to remain peaceful
Michael
and within the
Ehline,
law.
hopefully I said that right,
So
injury
we have
attorney.
yet to see
Oh, yeah.
any issues
$2,
as
thank
far
you,
as
brother.
the
Number five
protesters
from 2A
getting out into the
2A
street and
rights
stopping
lawyer.
the traffic.
Hell yeah, dude.
But there
That's
is
me.
law enforcement
type of
on
lawyer
hand.
right there.
They are
You love to hear
visible,
that.
but at least to this point of the
Fuck yeah.
morning, we have not seen
All right, let's see
any
what we got
issues.
going
Of
on in the
course,
parade.
these protests planned all across the country, many in North Texas.
I
This
don't
is the
think we
second
got
one
a-
we've been to this morning,
I
and
think we got a parade yet, guys. Seems like we're still getting started.
And those are real Abrams tanks, but they're modified for the street, just so you guys know. So I'm going to push it forward a
This
little
tank's
bit
real. This tanks are fake.
and try to
I'm sure they're real. But
freaking doggone.
anybody know? It started. They put you in fucking prison for like 20 years. No, not nothing.
Oh, yeah, listen to this.
I haven't seen anybody explain this in a way that made any sense. Yeah, Travis Pastrana. Yep. Yeah. I was at his house 2 weeks ago. But can anybody explain that? Like what? I don't get it, dude. Somebody in the chat's got to know why they do this. I mean, paid protesters, yeah. That's probably really what it is. They're Mexican Americans, and that's why they fly the Mexican flag after fleeing a country that they hate, because that's where they're from.
Listen.
Let me give you guys a little heads up.
Yeah. Listen.
Do you guys know what happens if you desecrate the Mexican flag in Mexico? Do you guys know what happens to you? Anybody know? It started. They put you in fucking prison for like 20 years.
That's right.
No, not nothing. It's fucking illegal. It's yeah. All right, let's check it out. Somebody said we're going live. Who keeps saying we're like? Are we going live? Well, I'm gonna check something else.
Wait, put it. I just wanted you guys to hear that because he's right. That is true.
Who keeps telling me they're going, guys? Somebody got a better link here? Because it seems like they're just chilling still.
Yeah, we're going to push it forward a little bit here.
Abdul Chroma, $2. Thanks
There
for
we go.
your service. Awesome channel. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
And soak in what should be a very interesting 90 minutes or so here on
Right side
Constitution.
broadcasting. I think we're good
Before
now.
we get to that first unit that you mentioned from the Revolutionary War a year before the Declaration of Independence was signed. But for now, let's see some of these sites.
Right side.
Army band.
All right, everybody keeps saying right side broadcasting. All right, hold on. Right side broadcasting. Okay.
There we go.
Artillery regimental song titled "The Caissons Go
That's
Rolling
much
Along."
better.
And
Good
in
job.
1956,
For all my
the
soldiers.
lyrics
Good.
were revised by Harold
All
Arberg
right,
as
Army
the official
band.
song
Here
of the
comes.
U.S.
And
Army.
we've
And
got
then
started a little
retitled
early.
"The Army Goes Rolling Along."
Yeah, this is way better.
Pershing Zone carries on its century-old legacy, playing a march that brings pride
Hey, watch
to
the way
every
these guys
soldier.
march.
The Army Song.
Today.
Very
The 3rd
relaxed.
Infantry Regiment, the oldest active duty unit in the U.S. Army. Established back in 1784, the unit was dubbed the Old Guard by Major General Winfield Scott during a
Just
victory parade
not
in
squared
Mexico
away
City
from me.
after the Mexican
Not
War.
squared away.
It is the U.S. Army's official ceremonial unit and presidential escort, conducting
they got,
year-round
though.
tactical training to ensure the highest standards and utmost discipline of its soldiers. The unit routinely represents the U.S. Army and our nation in official ceremonies, major sporting events, and their own, the U.S. Army's own Twilight Tattoo. The Old Guard also maintains 24-hour vigil of the tomb of the unknown soldier, while also conducting funeral services honoring our fallen heroes at Arlington National Cemetery.
Getting
The
bombarded
regiment's
with
50
ads.
campaign streamer stand is a testament to its long, faithful service to our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, the 3rd Infantry Regiment,
Let me see if I can
the
figure that out
Old
real quick.
Guard. In 1775, the shot heard round the world at Lexington and Concord sparked a
Right, that should have
revolution.
fixed it.
And for you YouTubers, I think that was really cool of him. So the ads were popping up too much for his viewers. So he went in online and changed it so they wouldn't pop up as much. I think that's really cool. So he's sacrificing channel monetization to make sure that you guys are good to go. I don't even know how to do what he just did, but I thought it was pretty legit. Give me a bunch of ones for Valhalla. Legit dude.
Uniting 13 colonies and forging a continental army from farmers and frontiersmen. Against the odds, they turned the tide at Trenton and Saratoga, survived Valley Forge, and at
We should be
Yorktown
good.
forced a British
Put
surrender,
it on
securing independence and giving birth to the United States of America.
Look at this. This is old school colonial uniforms right there.
Pretty cool.
That's George Washington time, baby.
By the way, I don't know if you can see that, but they got women in here. Like, I would say like a quarter of these guys are women. That would have never happened. So it's not historically accurate. So thank Obama for turning our military into a woke DEI joke. But let's keep on watching.
Before radios and field phones, sound
Fox
was the
has a
signal.
viewer
In the
discretion
Continental
advised
Army,
on the
fifes and
screen.
drums
You don't
carried
like to hear
commands
that.
across the chaos of battle. Telling
Why would they need
soldiers
to
when
put that on
advance,
a
when to
military
retreat,
parade?
Eat, even
Why
when to
would they?
rest. That legacy actually lives on today with the U.S. Army Fife and Drum Corps, part of the 3rd Infantry Regiment known as the Old Guard. Founded back in 1960, they're the
Again,
only unit of their kind in the armed
I am
forces.
hoping we don't see any type
Performing
of
in uniforms patterned after those worn by
attacks
General
today
Washington's musicians. Playing
that were
period
carried out
instruments
by
with patriotic
Iran.
precision, they bring history to life, sharing the sound and spirit of the revolution through more than 500 performances each year, both at home and around the world too. The Old Guard, Fife and Drum Corps, everybody.
supposed to be George Washington.
And now, from high above,
they're
ladies and
showing
gentlemen,
weapons. Oh, my
celebrating
God.
250 years.
Oh, there he
Your
is.
United States Army parachute team.
Oh, here we
the
go.
Golden Knights.
Gold Knights, baby. These dudes are good.
Descending
Way better
at
than I
over
was.
120 miles an hour, the Golden Knights are using flexible wing
Ooh, it's
gliders
looking
to
pretty
maintain
foggy
their
there, though.
formation. They open their main canopy
Now,
simultaneously.
somebody did mention
and
that those guys are
negotiate the
redcoats.
softest
No, they're
possible
not.
landing.
So remember that America is
I'll
very
tell you, they can't hear you, but they
Yeah,
sure
stand
can
by.
see
pretty
you.
much exactly
You
what I
can
meant.
give them
So somebody mentioned that those are redcoats, but they're not. Those guys are. Remember, Americans prided themselves as being Englishmen. It's just that we considered ourselves to be the true Englishmen, and so we had very similar uniforms. And the parade uniforms are actually red because our culture, our heritage was based upon the English British culture. And anyways, there's a whole history behind this that I'll get to another time, but those are definitely not redcoats, okay? Just so you guys know, don't get confused, don't mess it up. Now, let me see here. Let's get back into this video. Back into this freaking doggone video.
Great big wave, ladies and gentlemen, the Golden Knights, the finest parachuting team in the world.
Pretty foggy. I wouldn't want to jump right then. No way.
Yeah, that's, oh, here comes the smoke streaks. Yeah, that is foggy, cloudy, but
yeah.
I mean, they're professional. These guys are as good as it gets. All those dudes have like 10,000 jumps. That's like their literal only job in the Army is to skydive.
Yeah, they're pretty damn good.
They're not going to glide in the air.
I've seen them several times.
They'll probably get all.
So I still go to military parades and bring my son and daughter and my wife. And she's recently just become a U.S. citizen. She did it the normal way, like the legal way. So she's very proud to be an American and just loves going to these parades and learning about our heritage. But at the Marine Corps parades that I go to, oftentimes these Golden Knights will show up. And it was pretty impressive to see them. My son was pretty blown away last time. Let's keep watching.
Attached to each other, though. Let's see if they do that. How do you get to the Golden Knights? You need a lot of jumps when you try out for it. I know usually like Halo school, guys go to Halo school and are instructors because like in 3-4 years a Halo school instructor, they'll get like fucking 5,000 jumps.
5,000 jumps.
A lot of those guys will try out.
Yeah. Over 4 brutal
That's
years,
insane.
nearly 2 million soldiers fought to preserve the Union. Among them, 5 future presidents and the first recipients of a brand new military decoration, the Medal of Honor. With independence won, our nation's westward expansion began.
That's cool. They're doing a Foxville $5 Thanks Brothers says they're doing a segment for each conflict the U.S. Army has participated in, and then one for the current Army. That's cool.
Etched a legacy of grit and honor.
Civil War uniforms.
Frontier.
All right, so they're passing in review now.
That's fine.
Passing in review. Look at these soldiers in the back. Like, to me, not squared away. Look at the way they're marching.
Uniform signals their duty, their role, and
dang,
their
these folks are just
not
walking.
squared away.
Yes, welcome to what a parade is.
Outlined distinct looks shaping the Army's identity.
Yeah, that marching looks horrible, though.
Soldiers were issued 2 coats.
Look at that. Look how bad
Horrible.
that marching is, dude.
Terrible.
With brass buttons
Like no D&C practice.
What an embarrassment.
Well, by war's
What
end,
the
that
fuck?
rugged sack coat became the soldier's uniform of choice. As the war
Golden
escalated,
Knights.
volunteer enlistment surged.
All right, so all you guys who don't understand the Marine Corps rivalry with the Army, I want to show you basic Marine Corps drill. And this is just recruits, all right? And they drill us all the time. At School of Infantry, they drilled us constantly. One of the things that sets the Marine Corps apart is our discipline. You're not allowed to have your hands in your pockets. You can't chew gum while you're in uniform. The only time you can put your hands in your pockets is when you're out in the field. But anywhere else, that just doesn't happen. But let's just go ahead and take a look at the differences between the Marine Corps disciplinary system and the way we drill. Just watch and you'll understand exactly the difference. Get motivated. Hoorah. That's what's up. That's what's up. So that's a huge difference right there. So now you guys understand why we have an inter-service rivalry. Now, you saw the Marines. Now, just watch these Army dogs, man. I'm embarrassed for these guys. Who the hell are their officers preparing for a parade where they can't even march properly? I mean, the way these Army soldiers are marching, to me, is an absolute embarrassment. Let's keep watching.
Congress authorized support for a force of up to 500,000 new troops answering the call to preserve the Union. As they march by, representing the Civil War era of our nation's history, is the 4th Infantry Division.
Right on,
based
Lord Arrow. That's
Fort
cool.
Carson, Colorado.
Lord Arrow says that's Bravo Company at Paradise Island.
None of these dudes are going to bounce off the ground.
I'm a
These
Hollywood
guys are also the
Marine,
best
so,
in
you
the
know.
world.
MCRDSD.
Can I not swear? Probably not. I do my best not to. There's some times that it slips. I get a little wound up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know Tim County's invited. I'm well aware of that. It's unfortunate. Is the Navy behemoth going to come out? Probably not.
Probably
this
not.
one.
Okay, here's another thing to keep an eye on. So look, it looks like these are pretty much all females, right? So why the hell do they have females trying to represent historically Army cavalry? There were no females in the Army cavalry back then. Just another example of the woke DEI nonsense started under Barack Berry, whatever his name is, Sotero, and Big Mike, and what's happened to our military. Just an absolute lack of discipline, and in my opinion, a lack of respect for the culture and honor of this country. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Give me a bunch of twos if you think I'm a racist, bigot, and homophobe for thinking that we should be historically accurate in these military parades.
All right, what do we got here? Calf Scouts?
Texas,
What is this?
home of legends, the 1st Cavalry Division rides with pride. Born from the thunder of horse cavalry traditions of the Civil War, the 1st team forged its reputation
USA,
on the
baby.
lines of history.
USA.
USA.
Look at the one in the center. He hates it.
These colors don't run.
Got to buck this dude.
Crucible of Iron Drang, the first of 13 named campaigns in Vietnam where they proved their mettle. Today, that same warrior spirit lives on. You'll know the name, and you'll know them by their iconic cav hats, elite soldiers, and cutting-edge equipment. Tough, fit, fearless. The 1st Cavalry Division is a...
And that's another difference between the Marines in the Navy compared to soldiers in the Army. Marines aren't soldiers, by the way. We're Marines with a capital M. We don't call our covers hats. So what we wear on our head is called a cover. And you've got to wear your cover when you're outside. In indoors when you're under arms. Okay, so if you're wearing a duty belt or you're carrying a weapon, you have to wear your cover indoors. The only time that you're excused from that is in the air wing. And so we kind of make fun of the air wingers. We say swing with the wing because they have more relaxed discipline. So we kind of compare the air wing to regular Army sometimes. But just to give you a little distinction between the two branches.
Lethal discipline force
or 3
that
branches.
stands ready to fight at anywhere, anytime, and the legacy rides on. This is the CAV.
Right, and so also, just so you understand, I have friends who were in the 1st Air Cav who are still alive from Vietnam, and so when the Army went away from horses, during Vietnam, I believe it was Vietnam. It may have started back in Korea, but I'm not totally sure. But definitely Vietnam. They were changed to the 1st Air Cav, and so they fly around in helicopters. That's their new horse, is the helicopter. Here we go.
Wish they would zoom out so we could see how many people are there. Oh, he doesn't look happy at all.
Fires of revolution, testing on
What's that
today's
grump
front
face,
lines
Trump?
of freedom. Before there was a nation, there was the United
Special
States
thanks to our
Army.
sponsor, Lockheed Martin.
Oh, God.
Look who sponsored the parade.
To the unwavering readiness at Fort Bragg
Sponsored by
today.
the Military Industrial
And
Complex, bringing
to
you
witness
World War
the
III
next
next
generation
week.
of leaders.
Hell yeah, bro.
For 250 years, one force has stood ready, unshaken,
That's perfect.
unmatched, unbreakable.
Of course, Lockheed Martin sponsored
And
this.
today, the legacy rolls on. This is the United States Army's.
I don't look like there's that many people there, guys. Like the Washington.
Pretty good time to start buying Lockheed Martin stock.
It's not full. I mean, again, it's hard to tell.
Representing our joint forces, please welcome the
Here
chairman
comes
of
super
the
chats.
Joint
Diesel
Chiefs of
Gaming,
Staff,
Twitch
General
TV.
Dan King.
All right, $5. Thanks, brother. As a United States Marine, that marching made me throw up. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I can't talk trash. So it was a Green Beret. I didn't march in 10 years.
Hey, what's up? Good seeing you, brother.
But
Seeing you, man.
if I, I'd try to figure it out if I was going to do this. All right, Zool's $5. Thanks, brother. I plan on enlisting in the Army, becoming a Green Beret. I'm trying to prepare beforehand. I need to learn the language. Which one should I learn? You don't need to learn the language. Don't bother. Won't do you any good. They're going to give you whatever language they decide to give you, and you'll learn that one.
Opposing trenches, barbed wire, poison gas, and mass casualties.
That
the
is
United
not a
States
war I would have
initially
wanted to
maintained
fight.
its
No way.
neutrality, but was eventually drawn into conflict in 1917. Despite having less than 130,000
like there's
soldiers
two
at the beginning,
things that
the
sound
Army
like.
eventually grew to over 4 million, with nearly 2 million soldiers serving in Europe. In 6 months of
My bad,
fighting,
guys.
nearly 50,000
Hopefully you
Americans
couldn't
lost
hear
their
that.
lives, with another 190,000 wounded. The guns fell silent with the armistice of November 11th, 1918.
Oh, there we go, baby. Old school.
God, look at how fat they are.
All right, the
What a
band looks cool.
disgrace.
The band knows how to march.
We continue on with more
do this
USA
stuff all
World
the
War
time.
I rolling stock.
Terrible.
This 1918 Dodge touring car was part of the legendary 1919
Audio's good. All right, good.
Transcontinental Convoy.
The Undertaker driving.
3,251
No, that looks
miles
like
and 62 grueling
Sergeant
days
Slaughter,
across
bro.
the Lincoln
That's
Highway.
who that is.
And remember, no pavement, no GPS, and no power steering. Just grit, determination, and the
He
drive
sure
to
does
push
look like
Army
Sergeant
mobility
Slaughter.
into the future. This car literally helped pave the way for the roads we rely on today, and reminds us when the Army moves,
Thanks,
the nation
Jeff.
Code Red,
follows.
$2
The
shout out from South
1918
Carolina.
Dodge
Ooh.
touring
Brother, what's
car.
up? How you doing? Melania's looking real good.
And let me give you another distinction also between our cheer. So in the Marine Corps, we say "era" or we'll say "rah" now. But we said "oorah" when I was in, and the Army says "hua," and that didn't come out until much later. By the way, the "hua" thing came out after the Marine Corps was using "oorah," and we say they tried to kind of copy us, but allegedly, the "oorah" comes from the "auga" of the submarines that they used for the Marine Raiders when they would do insertions. So the Marine Raiders were basically like the Special Operations Unit in World War II. There were two of them under different commanders. And the lore is that starting around the Korean War, that these Marines who fought in that war, who were raiders, became drill instructors, and they would say "auga," and that became "oorah." And then that got passed on, and ultimately, by the time after Vietnam, when I was in, from maybe 86 to 89, it started being used heavily within the United States Marine Corps. So that's just another little difference. I'm just trying to give you the distinctions.
As always. Hottest first lady ever. That's why they hate her guts. Foxglove, $5. Fun fact, mustard gas was not
Headquartered in
mustard
New York,
flavored.
this
Yeah, I
is
bet it
the
wasn't.
42nd Infantry Division Band.
Me
At the
too,
start of
Angel.
World War
Good
I,
people.
The 42nd Infantry
Wonder why
Division
they
was
called it
formed
mustard
with
gas.
troops
Anyone
of
who's willing to give up
27
their
National
life for a
Guard
fellow
units,
man is
stretching
definitely
across
somebody I
the
want on my
3,000
team.
in the chat. Jesus, guys.
Composed of skilled musicians
everybody,
from all
if you're new
walks
to the
of
live
life
stream.
and professional occupations. They perform a variety
more
of
to
Here's
musical
something. So wait. So now, hold on a minute, guys. So Blue Steel says that "hua" came from the 82nd. So the 82nd D-Day, and it's "who us." So he's saying that "who us" ultimately evolved into "hua," and if that's true, that's awesome. I didn't know that, but yeah, I'm cool with it, man. Again, I love the Rangers, the 75th, and the Green Beret guys. I just don't think that the regular Army is that disciplined. Until you're in a combat arms unit, and us Marines in general, we just don't have any respect for anyone unless they're in a combat unit. And even if you're in the Corps, if you don't do combat, you're always considered to be a second-tier Marine. Until you have a combat action ribbon, you're really not anything special. So I never was in combat, but I love my Corps, and I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to serve. So anyways, let's get back into it.
genres. Though their mission is primarily a musical one, the members were ordered into active federal
Wait,
service back
there
in
was a pride flag? I didn't
2004
see it.
in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom
God.
3. The band has also served in support of numerous state active duty missions, including
the
cleanup
rainbow
efforts
drums.
following
I don't think
Hurricane
that's a
Sandy,
rainbow.
distribution
It looks like they have
support
rainbow
during
flags
COVID-19,
on,
and
though.
recently
Look.
support
It
for
actually
New York
does. It
State
looks like they got
Corrections.
rainbow flags on.
Commanded by Chief Warrant Officer
no
2
way
Ethan Wagner and led by Drum
Trump would
Major
allow that,
Sergeant
though.
First Class Drew Gans.
That's gotta be something
The
else.
band is performing Over There,
There's only
written
3
in
colors on it.
1917 by Broadway composer
Yeah, that
and
looks pretty bad.
recipient of
Yeah,
the
there's only-
Congressional
it's
Gold Medal
red,
George
yellow, and
M.
blue.
Cohan.
But it does kind of look like rainbow flags from a long ways
Representing the
away.
World War I era is the 82nd Airborne Division, based out of
Well, the rainbow flag, just so you guys know, just to make a distinction, the rainbow flag that the groomers and the transvestite community use is not a true rainbow. So all those colors represent some sexual thing. It has nothing to do with the real rainbow. It just looks kind of like a rainbow. Just so you guys know, if you look at it closely, you'll see that it doesn't actually have the real colors of the rainbow completely. It's an evolution of their sexual attraction towards different sexes and minor attracted persons and all that thing that the movement has evolved to support. So a little bit different. Let's go.
Fort Bragg, North Carolina. You'll notice the unit is
82nd
wearing
Airborne
replica World
Division.
War I uniforms signifying the soldiers who served our nation during this time. When the Americans entered the Great War,
Right on, Johnny
our
Snow.
soldiers
Good
under
for
the
you, brother.
command of General Blackjack Pershing hit the trenches in
All
the
right,
new standard.
Ivan,
It was
$2.
the
We got
olive
team
drab
version of
winter
military parade.
service
Yeah,
uniform.
this is not
now
great
on their
so
heads
far.
you see a steel
I mean,
helmet with sand-textured paint built
North
to deflect
Korea,
deadly shrapnel
North
from
Korea
above.
puts this shit to shame.
That's true. Their
These
parades are
guys
way
is
better.
Not that
Nicknamed
impressive
the
so far.
Pershing boot, on their feet was the
We also don't do
N918
parades, so I guess
1918
that's kind of a
French
learning lesson here.
boot. It
That
was
marching
designed to
is
survive
garbage.
the grind of
Kathy,
trench
$10. Thanks
warfare.
for Nate.
And on their backs,
Do things
the
like this
field
make you
pack,
proud of being a vet?
rations,
So, yeah,
ammo,
I can be
first
more
aid,
proud.
and a gas mask.
Yeah, of course.
Everything a doughboy needed to
I
fight.
love being in the
and to
military.
win.
I'm critical of some things, but I'm a huge.
And look at this
supporter
marching.
and
It's just
proponent
so
of the US
bad.
military, the Army,
It's
everything.
horrible.
Great job.
Incidentally, the 42nd Infantry Division was deployed to
Tim
heavy
Corbin, what's up,
combat
brother?
abroad
$2.
and then
Follow
deployed
affair
again in World War II,
Gallery.
ultimately liberating the
Follow
Dachau concentration camp. The 42nd responded
So
to
guys, I can't help myself. I me being a gung-ho jarhead, I got to show you this next video first. So here's the difference between our basic training, just so you can see the differences between Marine Corps training and Army training. So you get a kind of an idea of why we're so proud to be Marines. All right, this is going to blow your mind. This is so good.
Get your headgear off, man. Go! Go! Can we move any slower? You don't wear headgear inside. Some of you
Army.
aren't even making it past 5. Go! Get off the box! You gotta move faster than that!
In the back. Their laundry bag up. Hug it. It's the last thing I'm gonna hug for a while. From day one that we get these guys.
You're Marine.
Bunks, go!
Teaching them how to make their beds because some of them never even made a bed in their life.
You guys have what?
Ooh.
Bunks!
I'm getting tired already.
Racks. There's no more beds.
Telling them when to shower,
Stand up straight.
when to
He's
brush
fat.
their
Look at
teeth,
Go
Look at his
utilize
fat.
the latrine.
how to tie their boots,
Suck that gut in.
how to wear their uniforms
Just
properly.
get rid of your gut.
Is the seam in your pants. Some of these guys have just never had that direct guidance or mentorship.
Because that's why you are here. To become disciplined.
How come everybody else has their duffel bag in their arms and you're just letting it hang? No, Sergeant Kelly. Got a blue suitcase. Thought he was going on vacation.
You are going to be my right guide. You're going to fall in on this corner right here. Do you understand? Let's go. Put your bag down. Is this your bunk? Is this your rack? I want my whole platoon in here in about a
Go
minute.
Army.
They know, oh, well, drill sergeant's just here to yell at me. No, that's not what it is. We're here to teach them.
That's okay. I've got weeks on weeks to work with you guys.
Be that
I
professional.
will get you straight.
Be that mentor that these guys look up to and one day that they want to be.
What are you crying about?
Nothing, Drill Sergeant.
Get over here, crybaby. Now!
Yes, Drill Sergeant.
Getting. God.
Get over here! Right here. Get your hands off of me. Stand here and face me. Now I'm a sergeant drill sergeant. Stand right here and face me.
Thanks, Mike.
Listen, we're gonna do this the easy way. You understand? No formalities. No special instructions. You're just gonna go!
Oh my God.
Left hand guide hand, loose grip. Right hand brake hand. Left hand guide hand, loose grip. Right
I mean, these drill sergeants, and they call them drill sergeants in the Army. They call them drill instructors in the Marine Corps. Look at how obese and overweight he is. Look at how disheveled his uniform is. He's not squared away at all. I mean, this is why Marines make fun of soldiers, guys. Let's keep watching.
And break in, death grip.
Next, up
Death
boys.
grip.
Let's go. Let's
Hold
go.
on,
Let's go.
Small of your back.
Hey,
face me.
Cut the rope. Yeah, good.
You ready? I'm gonna push you off if you don't do this. Both heels on the edge of your tower. Hold on tight here, tight there. Look down at your belay. Make eye contact. Make sure there's somebody down there doing their job. Just say lane 3 on rappel.
Lane 3 on rappel.
You clenching your lips. You want some of this? You got a problem? You got to think about it because you might have a problem. Huh? You have a problem. That's what you're telling me. You want to handle it?
Yes, sir, Sergeant. I want to handle it.
Let's go. Handle your problem.
My problem's with me, sir.
Sir, that looks like a damn officer to you. Don't look at me.
And by the way, guys, this is another interesting difference. You see how that young private or recruit, that Army recruit, is standing? He's at parade rest. We would never stand at parade rest when we're addressing a DI, and we are emphasizing maximum decibels. Sir, yes, sir. Like by the end of the day, you basically have laryngitis. Look at how ridiculous this guy is. I mean, man, I hope that Hegseth does something with the Army because this is a joke. Let's keep watching. This is stupid.
So what's your problem? Oh, God. No. Hello? Answer my bell. Hello? How's the response? How about?
It's the same guy. Overbite. It's the same.
Your problem is your overbite.
Yeah, John Enow says that he had drill sergeants that were way harder than that. And look, this is just part of the new DEI woke nonsense that's been pushed on our military by these radical left-wing commie piece of shit politicians. I know soldiers from the old school, from the old days, that tell me that they were way harder and way tougher, and I believe that for sure.
You're sitting here smiling, huh? Well, you should have told your parents to buy you some braces a long time ago.
Same guy, barracks without the S.
With your thumbs.
Your name around with this place where you get ready to stay at, right?
So he belong to me. We gonna fix.
That's what's up.
You want to read Proverbs? This is scared of heights right here. I know he's scared of heights. I know he's scared of heights. Not only that, I'm going to take a wild guess on what you shot on the range. That's the other side. Pizza box.
Okay, so do you guys know what a pizza box is? So in the Marine Corps, we have marksmen, we have riflemen, and we have sharpshooters. I believe that the marksman is the pizza box. Strike that. The marksman looks like a German cross. The pizza box is the sharpshooter, and then the rifle expert badge is the one that you want. It's got the leaves around it. That's what I was. It's got cross rifles and the leaves, and I was almost company high shooter. There were two guys above me. I was so pissed because I was shooting my rounds through the same hole. I've been shooting since I was about probably 6 or 7 years old with BB guns, and then ultimately used to go to Irvine Gun Club, and there were real Marine Corps PMIs there who were retired who taught me how to shoot to get me ready for the Marine Corps. Because where I grew up in Orange County, it was all Vietnam vets and just hard charging Marines. And when they heard I wanted to be a Marine, well, naturally, I wanted to become part of their brotherhood. They wanted to make sure that I was prepared. But my rounds were so tight, they were going through the same holes. And so I got counted off on a couple misses, which weren't misses. They went through the same damn hole. I know they did, because that's how I shot. I'm a great shot. So that kind of pissed me off. But they're making fun of him for getting a pizza box, because a pizza box is like unsat. It's low man on the totem pole, because the Marine Corps is a combat-oriented unit. I mean, I think in the Army, they even give you a ribbon for typing or something, right, guys? You get like a badge for typing, a badge for throwing a grenade. It's totally different. All right, so let's get back into it.
Box. Did you?
Yes, sir.
Imagine that.
You're going to send him real quick, do you understand? Yes, sir. As soon as you get on that plane and you're on your way to Afghanistan, you understand?
Yes, sir. Let's do it. Dirty weapon. Yes, sir.
Hey, Chevy. Hey, everybody. Welcome Chevy into my show. Chevy is one of my biggest donors. He always buys memberships so new people can join Team MPE. Super legit dude. I met him when I was helping Chili DeCastro run his channel when he was falsely imprisoned. When I was visiting Chili in jail, I was helping him with the channel and giving reports back to all of his subscribers to make sure to keep his channel alive so he could still have a living when he got out of jail. Because that's what Marines do, man. We just take care of our friends. That's part of the mentality. So Chevy, I do appreciate you. Thanks for joining me today and for supporting my channel. Let's get back into it.
Look down. That's rust. Automatic weapons failure.
Get to the ride, Russ. Get to the rush. That's Russ.
I can see talking port arms too.
What's that? Get over the park. Get over the park.
Oh, hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So look at that. So Chevy just bought a bunch of memberships for other people so they could get access to my back channel. So look at all those green lights. Thank you so much, Chevy. And again, anybody who's got questions about military law or anything they want to learn about the Marines or the Army while I'm here, even if it's $1.99 or whatever, if I see one of those blue boxes or a red box pop up, I'm going to immediately try to answer that question for you. It's just too many questions running through the chat for me to answer everything. So anybody who wants to support the channel, show their support for Team MPE and Team USA, baby, the non-woke, non-DEI, patriotic, all-American channel. This is the place that you come to. So let's get back into watching this Marine DI smoke a freaking recruit.
I know a fair state joint on my head. You want straight.
Look for the close up right now. Faster. Find those good. Get on right now. Get on. Just do the scream. Get up here to the mouth. Get up. Blast the bus. Get up. I know you're not going to be able to take on knee. Blast the bus. Fix it right now. Come back in there and turn back on the joint. Do a step. Get out of my way. I'm supposed to get out of the way for you, right? Open it to your mouth.
This crew needs to make a head call, sir.
Needs.
Request Mr.
Shut up! You're gonna tell me what you freaking need, right? I'm here for your goddamn needs, right? Right! Way back on the block! We're trying to get it. 1, 4, 3.
Getting motivated. All right, so you guys hopefully you see the differences between the Marine Corps and the Army. That just motivates the crap out of me, man. I don't know about you guys, but damn, I just get so motivated. So now you guys, hopefully you're getting an understanding of what makes the Marine Corps so special. There's not very many of us. So whether you're a cook, whether you're admin, air wing, you all have to have basic infantry training. Now they put you through what's called Marine combat training. And so that's always your secondary MOS in the Marines is always going to be a rifleman. You always have to be ready to fill the line. If we lose somebody in the 311s or the combat arms units, you got to get in there and help out. So the Marine Corps, that discipline they instilled in me made it possible for me to become a lawyer with no law degree or undergrad. I passed the California State Bar, and I've got a book that I actually have that I talk about my journey for $19.99 on my channel, if you're interested, called My Journey to Becoming a Practicing Lawyer with No Law Degree or Undergrad. And I slept on park benches and did whatever I had to do in order to get through that program. And it was not easy, guys. And other than being a Marine, becoming a lawyer and passing that bar with no formal legal training other than just being a guy that was highly disciplined, which I attribute to the Marine Corps. And I challenge all you young men out there, aside from the fact they have female drill instructors teaching men, which is ridiculous, because they don't have to pass the same physical standards. Out of all the branches, it's still the most difficult and the most disciplined. And so at least you got an opportunity to see that. So now when we watch the Army in their parade, you can see why I'm just like laughing at these guys. And no disrespect to you soldiers, but come on, man, give me a break. This parade, to me, it has a lot to be desired. I think the command, whoever organized this parade, should be ashamed of themselves for the lack of discipline and esprit de corps demonstrated by the soldiers who were marching. Let's get back into it.
Terrorist attacks on 9/11. Later, with the war on terrorism, the rainbow stretched across the world again.
Thanks, James.
Iraq and Afghanistan.
Appreciate it, brother.
There it is. World War III. It's not just for Ukraine and Russia anymore. Trump found a path.
Thundering
Thanks, Radio and
interview
DARPA
with the
contractors. Well, Trump
pride
didn't
of
find a
Fort
path.
Sill, the U.S. Army Artillery half section.
Old BB
This
did.
is literally
That's been a
powered
long time
by
coming.
horsepower and heritage. This elite
What's going on with these
ceremonial
horses?
unit honors the
These horses
legacy
are
of the
just like,
Army's
get me
horse-drawn
the F
artillery.
out of here, man.
With precision, discipline, and 6 majestic
Bunch of them just
horses
hate
pulling a vintage 1918 caisson.
Again, more
The half
females
section
riding
is
horses,
traditional
not historically
Power,
accurate.
pride, and precision of
Right,
America's
isn't this
field
one like tank
artillery.
warfare? I know
This
trench
is
warfare.
Fort
Maybe World War
Sill's
II was more
finest,
the,
ladies and gentlemen.
more the big tank conflict. Oxo says mustard gas used to be green, not yellow. It's only yellow now because
Special
of dye.
thanks
That's
to
why
our
it's called
sponsor,
mustard
Foreign
gas.
Energy.
Also, that was one of the least used gases. It was mostly phosgene, phosphorus, phosgene. Interesting. I didn't know that.
World
All
War
right.
II, a
World
global
War II,
fight
here we
for
go.
freedom. In history's darkest hour, the United States Army was on the front lines. From the beaches of
World War
Normandy
I
to the
was the
islands
early
of the
stage of tank
Pacific,
warfare. Yeah,
the
that makes
greatest
sense.
Well, it's not about yelling. Let me explain what that's all about. The yelling and the screaming and the organized chaos in Marine basic training is designed to put you in a simulated combat position where there's a lot of crap going on and you have to be able to follow orders and get shit done. And that is why we're shock troops, and that's just our mentality. So don't mistake all that yelling and screaming for making you better. However, I do agree with you about one thing. These Green Berets, like the guy that's emceeing the parade, they're smart as hell. And I've got nothing but respect for the Green Berets. These guys are legit dudes, and they're the most intelligent out of all of them. They've got to speak a foreign language. They've got to work with different cultures, and they've got to train them and make them into a fighting force. So the Green Berets are kind of like Army drill sergeants, but they're also highly trained warriors, and many of them come from the Ranger battalions. So they're usually older, more seasoned, and more experienced. And that's why I have nothing but pride and respect for the Rangers and the Army Airborne units, and definitely for the Green Berets. I think they're great guys.
Vanessa, what's up?
Face down tyranny and turn the tide.
Anti-hero in the podcast in the house. Well, at least Vanessa is. What's going on, Vanessa?
Attention to detail. That's right. That's right, George. Attention to detail. Amen to that, brother.
From bombers to fighters to transports, U.S. Army aircraft started to thunder across the skies in World War II. And take a look up there, ladies and gentlemen. Flying overhead right now.
Wow,
they
they
are
got some
fast.
old
They are
school ones out
fierce.
there.
And famously
Is that a
used
B-25
to the raid
Mitchell?
over Tokyo. Leading up front, the mighty
Couple of
B-25
Mustangs.
Mitchell.
And that's when it was
Up
Army
next, the
Air
Cadillac
Corps.
of the
There was no
sky,
Air
the
Force back
B-51
then. It was
Mustang.
Army Air Corps.
All right, where's the 82nd Airborne? That's
From
my
the
grandpa
sky,
was
we're
in. He
back
jumped
down
into
on
Normandy
the
on
ground.
D-Day.
In World War II, one vehicle led the charge, the legendary quarter-ton 4x4 command recon vehicle, the Jeep. You might have a Jeep in your driveway, but not like this. The U.S. Army truck quarter-ton 4x4 command reconnaissance, better known as the Jeep, was an iconic vehicle of World War II and was the world's first mass-produced four-wheel drive vehicle. The Army used the Jeep for almost every military activity, including command vehicles, scout cars.
Hey, Black Loki, thanks for joining us today, brother. Just covering the parade.
Became a symbol of American ingenuity.
The lack of discipline with these soldiers marching, unsat.
There you go. Just Don't says, I expect some better D&C from the Marines. If not, I'll be disappointed. OIF, yeah, I know. I don't know who we got marching here.
North Carolina, this is the 82nd Airborne
There we go. This is my grandpa's
Band.
Undisciplined marching.
Received
God.
nickname All-Americans after the contest as it represented the diverse origins of its members from every state.
There you go.
All right,
This
so
day remains today symbolized by their iconic.
All right, so let's get into some military law here. So you see that we've got Hegseth sitting down. What the hell is that all about? Okay, so typically the president will always stand for the national anthem, the colors, and the pass in review and honors, and he can also return the salute. So the president and the Secretary of Defense, they're not required to wear headgear or covers if you're in the Marines or Navy to salute, as well as military veterans by executive order. I think it was passed under Ronald Reagan. If the colors are flying or whatever, we're not required to put our hands over our hearts. We get to salute as well, even if we're not wearing a cover. So that's a little bit different. Now, the Secretary of Defense is also supposed to stand for ceremonial moments. Typically, he will not salute, but he will place his hand over his heart, adhering to civilian protocol. But again, since he's a veteran, he does have the right to salute. But what the heck is going on, Pete? Come on, man. What's wrong with you, dude? You should be standing right now. Give me a bunch of ones if you guys think that Pete should be standing as the troops pass in review next to the commander-in-chief. Give me a bunch of ones if you think he should know that, being I believe he was an infantry officer. So I just think that Pete should know. Give me a bunch of twos if you think that it's okay for him to just sit there smoking and joking. Let's get into it.
Patch. Fort Bragg's finest, ladies and gentlemen. Give a big round of applause. The 82nd Airborne Ceremonial Band.
I'm a deep family lineage right there on that one. This is the current 82nd. Dude, those dudes are jacked. Do you see those two dudes?
Yeah, they're pretty buff.
I don't think they made them like that during World War II.
That's a little testosterone incipient
In a
age.
global fight like World War II, the U.S. Army knew our troops needed more than courage.
Yeah, me too, James. Kind of disappointing, right?
Every environment, but olive drab remained the mark of the American soldier. Shaped by lessons from the trenches of World War I, the Army introduced two battlefield essentials.
Definitely sucks there on protocol, James.
Interesting. Ask my dad. Some of the other
And the M1 Durand rifle, powerful and fast, it gave American troops a very clear.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I thought that the Red Berets were specifically limited to the Ranger battalions. Remember when Obama and the woke army gave everybody black berets because that's what Rangers wore, so they could make them all get a participation trophy and feel like they were Rangers? Well, immediately the Rangers switched out their headgear, I believe, to red berets. Somebody put it in the comments who are Army, if you can explain to me what that's all about, because I do see a female there as well wearing a red beret, and I don't think there's any females in the Ranger battalions because they can't pass the phys qual. They had to lower the standards to allow a few females to make it through Ranger school when it comes to the pickle jar, because they're physically weaker than men, so they couldn't get the lids off. So they made it easier for them. So lowering standards has always been the goal of the progressive Marxist left. And obviously, I disagree with that. I think we need to be a force in readiness and ready to take names. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree.
General George S. Patton called the M1 rifle the greatest battle implement ever designed.
Baby.
And history proved him right.
Tan berets. Copy that. Copy that, John. So John Eastno squared me away. John Eastno squared me away. The Ranger battalions were a tan beret. So I'm wrong on that one, guys. Again, I'm not an Army dog. But let's check this out again. Let's rewind this a little bit. Look, dude, he's still not standing. The Secretary of Defense should at least be mimicking the Commander-in-Chief based on military protocol. Let's go.
General George S. Patton called the M1 rifle the greatest battle implement ever designed.
Baby.
And history proved him right.
Yeah. Get off your ass, Pete.
The 82nd
get off your ass, man. What are you doing, Pete?
Best known for their bravery on D-Day, when 12,000 parachute and glider troops destroyed German supply lines after fighting for 33 days straight.
Hell yeah.
They're just walking, smoking, and joking.
$50 dono. Thank you, brother. That's super generous of you. I appreciate it. Thanks to all the super chats. You guys are the best.
The 101st Airborne Division, based out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, traces its lineage back to 1918 when it first established as the 101st Division. Known for their ability to rapidly deploy across the world,
that's a hard one, man, because again, my dad was a Green Beret, so I grew up around One of my dad's best friends was Riley.
Think he's drunk, boys?
Helicopter assaults in Vietnam, the 101st redefined modern warfare. In the 50s, the Screaming Eagles stood tall at home, protecting the Little Rock Nine during the fight for civil rights.
Copy that, Paul.
In recent decades, they've been set across the world with stints as far as the Middle East, where they took part in Operation Desert Storm and participated extensively
I agree with you,
in the war on
That's pretty
terrorism in
sad.
Iraq and Afghanistan.
Who is this?
The Screaming Eagles continue to lead the way as tomorrow's division in today's Army.
Cool.
Just not marching the way I would.
Draft dodger. This prey is gay.
The iconic Sherman tank is here, ladies and gentlemen. It was the cornerstone of the U.S. Armed Forces, showing its military might in World War II. It became one of the most influential tank designs of the 20th century. The M4 tank was nicknamed the Sherman tank after Civil War General William Tecumseh Sherman. Actually, it was named by the British. With almost 50,000 produced during World War II, the Sherman tank was in active service until 1957. In World War II, the M16 half-track was a force to be reckoned with. It was a self-propelled...
I actually got to go to the Jack Littlefield's Tank Museum before he passed away, and I got to go inside the finished Panther tank, and I got to go inside several other tanks, including a Sherman. And I'll tell you, I'd much rather be in a Panther tank than a Sherman, man. But I've had an opportunity. All this equipment that you see, I've gotten to see all of that equipment, everything that you're seeing on this parade deck right now. I got to actually go and crawl inside and smell the hydraulic fuel, smell all the gasoline and all the oil, and actually from equipment from World War I, from the Civil War, all the way up to World War II, and even some Leopard 1 tanks. Got an opportunity to see all that before Jacques Littlefield's kids, after he passed away, ended up parceling out all that equipment and closing down the museum, which was really sad. But I took one of my good friends who was one of my mentors on the law study program. He was also former Army, who was a prosecutor at the city attorney's office, and took him there. And I think that was one of the highlights of his life, a dear friend of mine. Let's keep going.
Anti-aircraft weapon with speed, firepower, and grit. Nicknamed the Meat Chopper, its quad 50 caliber mount could unleash 2,300 rounds a minute. Quite devastating. It served through Korea, Vietnam, and beyond.
I agree, Kate Cooper. Good for you.
Allies to this day. The M16 half-track brings the fight wherever it rolls.
Oh, yeah. All right, Taffy, $10. Thanks, brother. Bot Super Chat, hoping the military-industrial complex could hear me say, fuck you. Choosing sorry for the cursing. This comment.
I agree.
Over the lives of badass dude like Nate's disgusting. God bless you. I mean, it is what it is, man. We try to raise awareness of it now that we kind of know better, but that cog in the wheel keeps on turning, as you saw.
So like I was telling you earlier, I don't know if you can tell, but they've modified all these tracks for street use, because regular metal tracks will rip that asphalt to shreds. You can kind of see that there's rubber inlaid between the tracks there. See that rubber right there? That's all rubber. So they're trying to protect the asphalt. Let's keep going.
Brought to you by Lockheed Martin. Foxico, $5. Thanks, brother. Death by reckless drunk driving, Jeep steering leave was roughly as common as death by artillery fire in World War II.
Nothing happens until something moves.
I bet that's true.
That was never more true than with this.
That's
Look
wild.
at this, the 2.5-ton Chevrolet Deuce and a Half.
The Deuce and a Half,
Move
baby.
Up to 10,000 pounds of cargo. It was the backbone of the Red Ball Express that kept the Allies supplied after D-Day.
I bet there's a lot of people in the chat that have ridden in the back of those things.
Absolutely.
Code Red, $20. Thanks, brother. Super generous of you. Appreciate it. Love to see some UH-60s with some.
You're welcome, Kay. Thanks for supporting my channel.
Appreciate it. Terror. We might see some. I bet we will. Does it have a Segway unit? I don't think so.
Segway unit.
Oh, what is this thing? Like a tow truck? An army tow truck? Must be. Like a wrecker, an old wrecker.
Yeah, Christopher, the billions that Otto Penn Joe spent on illegals could have done that too.
It's weird.
Otto Penn Biden, disgrace to this country. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree.
Munchkin, she's snoozing right now.
The coalition fought and defeated
she hangs
two
out
Chinese
right outside the
offensives
camera.
in the spring of 1951.
Thank you, James.
Began shortly after that defeat in July of 1950.
James just threw me $5. Thank you, James, for supporting my channel.
This is a war that we don't give our vets enough
James Forbes, give me a bunch of ones for James for supporting Team MPD. $5 goes a long way, man. It means a lot. Thank you, sir.
Military
Dad served in
forces
Korea,
to the
yeah.
Korean Peninsula.
FJB, let's see it in the comments. FJB.
They must have got the soldiers from each unit, like from this unit currently, to be the ones that marched with it, would be my guess. Not sure how they're doing it.
Special thanks to our sponsor,
I know, the drill is really
Coinbase.
bad. Oh, Coinbase. Brought to you by Bitcoin, baby. All right.
Absolutely, John E. Snow. Give me a bunch of ones for John E. Snow's comment.
It's an official sponsor of the Army military parade, but all right.
John E. Snow, you're my man, brother.
Soon to
Give
be
me a fist
Fedcoin,
bump.
yeah, probably.
Hell yeah.
Mine real
The
quick while I still
M151
bring
kept rolling
cop
along
medicine
as the
here.
lightweight, high-mobility general purpose
Thumbs down for
vehicle
President
replacing
Otto
the
Penn
famed World War
and
II
surrendering
Jeep
to our
back in
terrorist
1961.
enemies, the Taliban.
Officially named the Military Utility Tactical Truck, or MUT, most servicemen generally referred to it as a Jeep. The vehicle spanned more than 40 years in 4 manufacturers and were everywhere that the Army was deployed.
Brought to you by Zen. That's who should have sponsored this thing, man. God damn, you're not wrong.
No, brought to you by On.
Zen would have been
Brought to
the
you by
perfect
On.
official sponsor. Zen and
Another
Rippets,
rolled by
dude.
earlier, and at 2.5 tons, this deuce and a half, the
there it is.
M35A2 Classic.
So if you guys don't know what Rippets are, it's like this energy drink that these guys drink to help keep them awake when they're in combat and stuff. And it's pretty much a staple in the Marine Corps and the Army infantry units and combat units. They drink that stuff like crazy. It tastes like horse shit, but it's keeps you awake.
The military transport truck was a mainstay of the U.S. Army for decades, particularly during the Vietnam War and Operation Iraqi
there's a big
Freedom.
boy.
The deuce and a half proved its value moving cargo, supplies, and soldiers.
Yeah, he sucked,
Its
John.
capabilities
Holy grace.
include up to
Hey, Rubot,
5,000
thank you, brother,
pounds
as
off-road
always.
and
Thanks for always being here and
10,000
supporting.
pounds
An
on-road,
abomination for this country.
making
Everyone
it
gets a
ideal
chance.
for
You
moving
should all visit
just
the Korean War
about
Museum in South
anything.
Korea. It's awesome. I haven't been able to do that, but I have heard that.
In the jungles of Vietnam,
All right,
the
here's my
U.S.
dad's
Army
war.
faced a new kind of war.
And a lot of your
Helicopters
probably
became
dad's
the new
wars.
workhorses of battle, delivering troops, firepower, and
There
supplies
they are. All right, here's
into some of the most
Oh, those are Hueys,
unforgiving terrain
I
on
think.
Earth.
It's hard to
Yeah.
see from here, but I think those are
Army in
Hueys.
Vietnam, the era of air mobility, fierce firefights, and unwavering brotherhood.
I bet that's what those are.
UH-1s. Single jet engine. The modern UH
And over the
Hueys
music, marching
have
through,
two
the
jets
roar
on
of
them. So
these
if one goes
legendary
out,
Army
it still
helicopters
keeps flying.
takes to the air. Flying overhead right now, they help define the Vietnam War.
Yeah, like Red
The
Bull. That's right,
staccato
James.
beat of the rotor blades
Red Bull.
was a welcome sound to many
Rippets
troops
are like a more
flying
advanced
in
version of
combat.
Red Bull.
Those might be Blackhawks.
From transport and medevac to close air support and reconnaissance,
They look like Hueys,
they
though.
brought
Yeah, those
the
are
fight
Hueys.
to the front and pulled the wounded to safety. The OH-6 Cayuse scouted the terrain with unmatched agility.
Oh, there it is.
The AH-1 Cobra.
Yeah, sure they do,
also
Mike
made no
Honcho.
mistake,
Yeah.
had serious firepower.
Cobra, there's a
Its
Cobra, I
sleek
just saw
design,
one.
as you can see here, helped
You'll
it
take another
survive
hit off
your
in
crack pipe,
hostile
buddy.
environments to protect soldiers below. And the icon of the era, the UH-1 Huey, the first
There it
turbine-powered
is.
helicopter in
Yeah, the
service
Huey,
with the
baby.
U.S. military. There was nothing the Huey couldn't do. General
We still use
support,
them.
air assault,
Not as-
cargo
not as much,
transport,
but I used them a few
medic
times in Afghanistan.
evacuation, and ground attack missions.
Taffy,
Battalions,
$5.
Cobra,
What
and
takes
Huey,
us?
ladies
Problem,
and
no
gentlemen,
salute.
three
I don't know,
iconic
Jocelyn, maybe.
Or is he drunk?
symbols
I mean,
in
I
the
hope
sky.
he's a little bit lit. I would be. I'd have some booze in the pocket. We'll half
The
pint.
1st Cavalry Division
But I
Band,
don't know.
based
I don't
out
know
of
why
Fort
he's not standing
Cavazos,
up and
Texas,
saluting.
has played
Should
a
be.
vital
The
role
president
in
stands
U.S.
up and salutes.
military
Gets
history.
your ass
too
up.
bad,
You
John.
stand
Since
up
its
and
origins
salute
back in
whenever.
Patches are pretty
1855
badass.
as the band of the 2nd Cavalry, it has supported operations from the Civil War to Desert Storm.
Yeah.
Over time, it's
Cab
evolved
Scouts,
into
man, they
a
took a
powerful
beating in the
force
Vietnam
using
War.
music to strengthen bonds between soldiers and engage with communities. From World War II in Korea to the Vietnam War in Bosnia, the 1st Teen Band has enhanced morale and upheld the division division's enduring legacy. Today, the band continues its mission
USA, baby.
to shape
There's a
perception,
lot
foster
of
trust,
I bleed red, white, and blue like these guys.
But that's okay.
Standing ready to
Not a
serve,
single
it remains
deployment
an
patch.
enduring
USA.
symbol of the 1st Cavalry
All
That's
those
Division's
a bunch of
legacy
ones
and
for
commitment
Team
to
USA.
duty.
Yeah, get
The
your
band
asses up and
performs
salute.
Hit the
What the
Leather
fuck are all you
Ride
people
on
doing?
March
What's going on with
composed by
Pete, man?
Captain
Why is he
Merrick
standing?
Wilson. This piece reflects the cavalry's transition from horses to
All right, Harry, $5.
mechanized
Thanks for
warfare,
going to basic
capturing the
on
speed,
August
the
12th for
resilience,
28
and the
Hotel. You
tradition
played a
of the
part in my decision.
division.
Join.
From
Congrats, brother.
Corcovado,
Good luck
Texas,
on your,
everybody, the 1st
on your
Cavalry
journey.
Division Band.
You're on the start of an exciting life path. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, Trump doesn't know how to salute either. He's got his
Best out of it.
thumb like this. So
Give me
salute.
Professor
your
of
thumb.
Tessa. Can't get
It's
your
like
whole
this,
name.
your-
$10. Thank you, though, brother.
The
Fingers
U.S.
go
Army
right
deployed
about
large
there.
I don't know
numbers
if
of
that's
troops
female.
in support of the Vietnam
Fire
War.
service, no.
The first
Cut it.
contingent of U.S. Army
Snap it,
advisors
cut it,
arrived
snap
in
it,
Vietnam
cut
in
it.
the late
Cut it.
1950s,
Your guy, I think.
and that quickly
Fire
grew
service
to
Marine
a
Poe
small
here.
Vietnam.
Happy
team
birthday,
of
brother.
around 100
Planning on joining the National Guard and
soldiers,
attending
which then
SFRE. Do
expanded
you
to
think
more
getting my
than
bachelor makes me
600
more marketable
over
to the
next
cadre?
decade. As the
I think
war
getting your bachelor's is a good idea in
intensified,
general, but
troops
do it for
numbers
free
quickly
in the
grew
military.
as
That's how I
war
did mine,
between
man.
the
Dropped out of
South
college,
Vietnamese
joined the military, got
government and the
my bachelor's for
supported
free,
by
used my
North
GI Bill for my
Vietnam
master's
Yeah.
degree when I got out. So
Way
In
to do
January
it.
1969, more than
Always a good idea, I think.
364,200 soldiers organized around 7 divisions and 20 separate combat brigades. The United States began withdrawing its forces in July of 1969, and the last Army combat unit left South Vietnam in August of 71. The last U.S. combat soldier
Did they
came
just say
home
the
in
last
March
combat unit left in
1973,
71?
while a small number of
Because
non-combat
74.
personnel
Fucking Green Berets
remained
didn't leave in
until
71, I can tell you that
April
much.
Yeah,
1975.
74.
we were there for a lot longer than that.
That's right. You might be talking about large units, but that's incorrect history.
Representing the Vietnam War era is the 101st Airborne Division based out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Where's all the special forces? Where's the Green Berets?
The
Yeah,
unit
what's
is
up,
wearing
man?
replica Vietnam
Fifth
War
group,
uniforms
first group,
signifying the
46th
soldiers
Company.
who served our nation
Come
during
on.
this
We
time.
haven't seen jack shit yet.
Blistering heat, thick
We didn't hear
humidity,
anything
and
about the
unforgiving
OSS
terrain
in World War
demanded
II, nothing.
uniform innovation.
That salute
And
is
the Army
unsad.
Where's the shout out?
Go for it, vets.
Look,
Here we
no
go.
shit.
Go
They
for
didn't
it.
talk about
Uniforms
fucking
were
Rangers,
constructed to
Ranger
move
Battalion
with the soldier.
in World War
The
II?
M16
Really?
replaced
Rogers
the M1
Rangers?
Garand,
Nothing?
calling for redesigned ammo gear
That's a
and
fail.
faster reloads in combat. Body armor
Hey,
got
these
smarter,
guys had a
jackets
march,
and
man.
trousers got
Quad
lighter,
still at
and field
$5.
equipment
Thanks,
was
brother. Probably a dumb question, but how does
reimagined
Trump
meet the
decide
mission
who to
head on.
salute? Personal
Gone were
preference?
the heavy Mickey Mouse boots
He just
replaced by
salutes
canvas
the
tropical
parade in
combat
general.
boots that offered
People
better
coming by.
grip, faster drying, and
They're
all-day
all
endurance.
troops. You know what I mean? They got the cooks marching? I don't know, probably. Foxglow, $2. I've constantly been losing faith in Hegseth. He does a lot of things I like a lot, and then a lot of
Hey,
things.
a cool little tidbit for you. So the French Foreign Legion, they had cooks fight in their battles too, and one of their units went in and chopped down the doors, I guess, of some castle or encampment of the enemy. And so because of that, when you see the French Foreign Legionnaire, they're the only unit authorized to wear beards, right? And so they wear beards, and they'll walk around with these big hatchets, and they'll have a big leather vest on. Little interesting tidbit of history for you. So in our Army, but in particular the Marine Corps, cooks are supposed to be able to fight just as if they were regular infantry. That was a big. If you ever saw the movie Patton, he talks about that with a cook. We'll get into it later on.
I don't. So better than the alternative, which the former administration was.
They
all
call them
things I
beef
didn't
eaters
like.
or something.
So it's
like
definitely a
the
massive
Foreign Legion
improvement,
guys.
but we got work to do still. I agree with that.
Maybe that's British Army. Hey, Largy Farva 540. Thanks for joining the chat.
Army Rangers with their Ranger tabs. I don't know. I've nothing special operations yet.
USA, baby, all the way. Team
just went right
USA
past
right
it.
here.
When Saddam Hussein's Iraq invaded Kuwait in August 1990, the U.S. Army deployed to Saudi Arabia to deter further Iraqi aggression in the region.
Hey, NC,
For what was known as
your uncle was a
Operation Desert
B-17
Shield.
navigator, got
For the
shot
fall,
down,
more than
German POW.
750,000
Salute to your
troops
freaking
comprising
doggone
U.S. service
family, man.
members and
That's
coalition
outstanding.
Partners from more than 30 countries had assembled in the Saudi Arabian desert. In mid-January 1991, the U.S.-led coalition began Operation Desert Storm, which kicked off with an intensive air campaign designed to knock out key Iraqi infrastructure and weaken Iraqi forces.
Yeah, I
The
agree with that,
offensive was
Dragon.
launched in
Release
early
the Epstein files,
1991, where
100%,
military
man.
forces overwhelmingly destroyed enemy tanks and vehicles. After only 100 hours of ground
I believe
combat,
that too, Blue
coalition
Steel.
troops
Hardest job in the
liberated Kuwait.
82nd is a
The
cook.
Gulf War
Did
ended
that walk?
with Iraq's
Yeah.
surrender.
Yeah, well, there's some big boys in the military, unfortunately. Desert Storm, kind of a...
Gosh, that drill is terrible.
It was kind of just a steamroll.
Man.
Didn't last long.
Terrible marking.
In and out.
From Fort Riley, Kansas, this is the 1st Infantry Division, one of the Army's most storied divisions.
1st Infantry Division, baby.
Nicknamed the Big Red One because of the distinctive red on
Terrible
their
marching
unit
again.
patch.
Gosh.
As the oldest continuously serving division in the U.S. Army, the unit has participated in every major operation since World War I, living up to its motto, no mission too difficult, no sacrifice too great, duty first. The 1st Infantry Division was originally established as the 1st Expeditionary Division in 1917 and spearheaded the American Expeditionary Forces in France during World War I. In World War II, the Fighting First stormed Omaha Beach on D-Day and liberated Nazi concentration camps.
It's like a Bradley.
The highly decorated unit has had 37 members of the...
Man, these guys are out of shape.
Thank you, brother.
Terrible.
Medal of Honor. In Washington, D.C., the 1st Division Monument stands in President's Park, memorializing those who
Blue
died
Rock
while
Cannon
serving
0311.
in the 1st Infantry Division.
Number 5, double.
Ladies and gentlemen, they are the Big Red One, the 1st Infantry
Division. The 250th
Division.
birthday of the U.S. Army. That's why it's all Army stuff. Yeah, the guys, the marching is horrible.
Horrible.
The DNC is horrible. Like, oh, here we go. Now we got a little North Korea look to us. The tanks rolling down the street. Just got a little bit of Russia, China, North Korea, Iran look to it.
Proved its value on the battlefield. It is fast, it is tough, and it is lethal. Named for General Omar Bradley, a leader from West Point's famed class of 1916, the Bradley was built to carry troops into combat with protection and power. Armed with a 25mm
La La Land because they're a bunch of commies. They hate their country.
Nasty vehicle right there.
Guided missiles. It played a critical role in clearing the way during the ground assault into Iraq. While the Paladin looks and sounds like a tank, it is technically a self-propelled howitzer that was first introduced back in the 1960s.
That is an artillery cannon.
Got it. That makes sense.
In versatile battlefield from Vietnam.
John says a lot of these guys are National Guard, which explains their lack of discipline. That makes sense. There you go, Bradley.
Blue says if we get an F-47 reveal today, I'll be a happy guy. I don't know. We'll see. That would be the Air Force, though.
Yeah.
So I doubt
Paladin. Okay, right on, Blue Steel. M109 Paladin. There you go.
Air Force was a part of the Army, you know, for a long time. So maybe.
See the rubberized tracks?
There's a lot of people there.
That's for street use, guys. Otherwise, that asphalt would be ripped to shreds already. Trust me on that one.
You got any tankers? Any tankers in the chat?
By the way, the Marine Corps got rid of their tanks. They became what's called a littoral force, designed to contain communist China. The same people who are funding these riots and this violent insurrection all across the country. All you guys who are on here who think that that's good, you can go fuck yourselves. How's that sound? Let's keep going.
All right, LA Matt, $20. Thank you, brother. Very generous. Thanks for being a breath of sanity in the YouTube space. It's refreshing to have a balanced and thoughtful YouTuber talking about soft issues and stories. Bravo Zulu. Man, I don't know if I'm sane, but I'm willing to talk about things fucking you're not supposed to talk about because I don't give a shit.
Howitzer.
You know, and I try to be as honest as possible. Just give whatever my perspective is. Some people like it, some people don't.
USA, baby, James.
Is what it
USA, that's what it's all about. These colors don't run. Ever.
Delta SEALs win? Yeah, Delta Rangers. Where are the Delta Rangers? Oh, what? Just a random Dana White.
There he is, Dana.
What? This is a UFC. This is a UFC where
That's
they're
not true, John.
pan to the audience.
Totally
like,
false.
Find some celebrities.
I'll do another video
All
on
right,
that.
why not? Fuck it. Dana White hanging out.
Stop listening to CNN and just watch my channel. I'll give you all. I've got all the receipts.
Dana White is a Delta Ranger. Yeah. Yeah, vacate the belt, John. Vacate the belt.
USA all the way. That's right.
Starbase
USA. Give me a bunch of ones for Team USA. Give me a bunch of twos if you're an anti-American insurrectionist who hates your country. Let's see it.
That way on this channel. Anna's the only congressman or woman to come on my YouTube channel. So mad respect to Anna. She's the shit. Mel Yellow, $5. Heard Tim Kennedy has his own formation with 50 grenades. I hope so. I hope.
Yeah, the Gulf War,
if they
no
don't
division hit harder
and when we get to
moved
Global War and Terror, if they
faster
don't do a
than
whole
the
thing
First
for fucking Green
The
Berets,
First
since we
Armored
pretty much
Division,
fought the war
nicknamed
by
Old
ourselves for
Ironsides, is the
almost
oldest, most
15 years in
recognizable
Afghanistan.
armored division in the United States Army.
That'll
As
be
part
a
of the build-up
travesty,
to
but
World War II, cavalry and reconnaissance
it better be
units were
just
brought
Tim
together
Kennedy.
to form
I
the
want to
First
see
Armored
just
Division
Tim
in
Kennedy with a
1940.
fucking rucksack
In the Gulf
on,
War, no
marching
division
by
hit harder
himself.
or moved faster than the First Armored.
Come on, Pete, stand up, dude. What's wrong with you?
Anyone else?
During
Just
Desert
him.
Storm,
What is
they
wrong
engaged
with
in some
Pete,
of the
man?
largest
Come on,
Solo
dude. It's the
Army
Secretary of
Army
Defense.
Singleton.
Stand
that
up.
were
Show
decisive
some
victories
respect to your
shattered
troops,
enemy
dude.
Tim Kennedy
formations.
by himself
Based in Fort Bliss,
with a
Texas,
rucksack full of
America's
50
tank
grenades.
division is
Also, I'm
currently
critical
supporting
of all of
missions
them, but I've
in
got the
20
receipts on
countries
who's paying
across
for these
5
organized
continents.
anti-American
From World War
communist
II to
insurrectionist
today, Old
protests.
Ironsides
We'll talk about
remains
that
The
later.
battle
old
proven
Ironsides.
and
Hey, there's our tankers,
always
boys.
ready.
There's our tankers, boys. God bless them, man. I wouldn't want to fight in a tank. Mm-mm.
Yeah, me too, Sharon. I think the more you sweat in training, the less you bleed in war. Peace through strength. Most guys I know who served in the military are the last people who want to go to war. That's right. That's
Red
why we
says,
serve, so
where's
we
the
don't have to
60s
go
and
to war.
64s? I don't know. We've missed a lot of things. This has kind of been
Me too, Johnny
super
Snow. It's
canned
terrible.
so far.
Just the lack of
I don't know, maybe
discipline,
if
the way they
current-
march.
The current parade is supposed to be the big
What the hell
flashy
is
thing?
that?
I'm not sure.
What kind of marching is that? Come on, man. Come on, Pete.
But
What are you
that
doing,
marching is
dude?
god awful. I don't know what the hell's happening.
No
Carlos
kidding,
Evans,
Kay. Shame on you,
$50.
Pete.
Goddamn, super generous. Thank you very much,
It's
brother.
embarrassing
Nothing
the way
lip
these guys are
tears to
marching.
Grease the old tank treads.
Yeah, no kidding, David.
Yeah, well, if we were to change any channel around the
I
country
agree with
right now,
that.
there's a lot of those tears.
Hey, that's cool, Junior. I'm a libertarian,
evil
so
king.
I hate both parties. 100. I'm all about
One second, guys, I gotta
USA.
blow my nose.
Constitution, Bill of Rights. That's me. Second Amendment to protect the First. Hoorah! Roger that. Give me a bunch of ones. If you believe that the Second Amendment is there to protect the First. Yeah, no kidding, Salangar 169, exactly. Absolutely, David. My dad died from Agent Orange toxic poisoning, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. That's why I started my military veterans nonprofit, so I could help people with service-related cancer. And I still speak at the Wounded Warriors Battalion for Marines that are EAS getting out to try to help get jobs. So I put my money where my mouth is. I don't just talk, I walk the walk, because I care about our troops, and I understand the hell that they've gone through. And I love my freaking military, especially the Marine Corps. Absolutely. Thanks, Kay. Thanks, F. Thanks, Shanyo. David, Matthew, David, the only loser I see here is someone who would criticize anybody who's willing to sacrifice his life for his fellow man. That's a big, big thing that these guys are doing. Even though they're not Marines, I forgive them for that. I know that all these guys
Where we at? Who's
would
marching?
sacrifice their lives for their fellow countrymen, and that's what matters.
What I missed? Are we in the Global War on Terror yet? Are we still in Desert Storm? Where are we at?
Thanks, James. I appreciate
Make sure
that.
I didn't miss any super chats.
Thanks for supporting my channel and all the
First
super
used
chats,
in
Steve
Operation
James.
Desert
Means
Shield
a lot
and
to me,
Desert
brother.
Storm, the M119 howitzer brought
It ain't easy
precision
doing these shows, man. I'm a lawyer. I work full time. I run a law firm. But this is where my heart is with these guys right here.
Able to fire high into the air or
Forever.
directly at
What are
the
those?
target,
Guys,
depending
I'm
on the
not
mission.
big on conventional.
Whether used in
I know
battery
some type of
formation
APC.
or as a standalone support weapon, the
Team
M119
USA, that's what
delivered
it's all
reliable,
about.
responsible fire when it mattered most.
Yeah, hey,
Service
T.I.,
today,
Gays for
including on
Palestine.
front
Go over
lines
there
of
and see how
Ukraine,
long you
it
last.
remains a trusted part of the Army's arsenal.
Blue, $5. Thank you, brother. Have you seen the new Abrams X they just announced not too long ago? I have not. I've not seen it. Maybe we'll get a little preview here in the parade. Ooh, what's that behind it? Is that an Abrams? That was a big boy.
Yeah. The
Box Glow,
20
$5
millimeter
marching
cannon
seems
on
off
there.
because they had to
Anybody
increase
know?
the tempo last minute to match their timing to the route's length, which was miscalculated. Interesting. You should still have.
Thank you. I love
somebody
big women.
counting off your
Special
marching.
thanks
though.
to our sponsor, UFC.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
That one makes sense.
Yeah, that does.
You got Dana White there. You should have panned to Dana White during the
Yeah,
UFC
Marines are all
sponsors.
about that freaking UFC fighting, man. I got to tell you, we love fighting.
I know.
That's what it's all about.
Like I like it because I was in the Army. I did a career in the Army.
That's right, John.
And I'm sure a lot of the military people
garbage
like it.
Trash.
It's not the most impressive military parade I've ever seen, if I'm being honest.
Not.
Right? I'm not going to shit on it too hard because that's
Bushmaster 25 mil. Thanks, John.
You know, that's
Blue
my
Still.
boys. But
Thanks, Blue Still. Big women need love too.
Those women.
Well, some of these female soldiers look like pretty damn big women.
Damn. The World Trade Center, New York City.
Here we go. Here's my war.
Washington, D.C. using commercial airliners. In response, the U.S. launched the global war on terrorism. The U.S. would stop potential threats around the world and take the fight to terrorist groups and the nations that back them. The Army immediately deployed forces to Afghanistan to destroy Osama bin Laden's al-Qaeda terrorist organization and depose his sponsors, the ruling Taliban. The 2003 President Bush
and Sleepy Joe surrendered to the Taliban and left them billions in equipment. The greatest geopolitical disaster in the history of this country. And then all the commies blame Trump for that. I mean, who was in charge, Trump or Joe Biden? Give me a break. God. Bunch of fucking excuse makers. I'm sad.
Destabilized the entire region.
The two-decade conflict, over 2 million servicemen and women. Less than
New Rock Cannon 0311, Semper Fi brothers.
Support of the global war on terrorism.
Give me a bunch of ones for freaking Cannon 0311. Legit Marine right there, 0311 infantry. Kill!
With some super chats while they're doing this.
No kidding, that's Masaw. It's an embarrassment. Our force has been degraded under Sleepy Joe.
It does seem a little rushed, doesn't
This
it?
woke
$5
nonsense
from Taffy 3.
has
Nate,
got to
get your ass
stop.
down there and show these guys how to march. Brother, I don't know how to fucking march. Green Beret. I would look horrible myself out there. I did DNC for a little bit, basic training, and never did it again.
There he is, Terry.
Executing his dudes over this Gen Z.
Watch
crap.
a little bit too much CNN, bro.
Would not fly in North Korea, guys. Ooh, we got some music playing. Finally got some music. There's JD. I like JD Vance, I'm not gonna lie.
Look at the Marine.
A lot more than most of Trump's. Is that Christy Nome? Well,
I think JD Vance was a combat correspondent.
$100 donation.
So he took pictures and stuff like they're like a news media guy.
Thinking about Iran wanting to nuke.
Like Private Joker.
Not to be messed with a good
Full
point,
Metal
but
Jacket.
they can get one from Russia or China as they allotted oil from them. Enemy is my friend. Weird stuff with Ukraine. One can't seem too. Curious of your opinion. I will say this: it is a little suspicious that China and Russia.
Hey, what's the matter? You can see me, bro.
Give Iran a nuclear weapon, isn't it? It's almost like they know maybe fucking these guys shouldn't have a nuke, right? So, in fairness to Israel, it's kind of a good point. Russia and China don't want them to have one either, just as much as the rest of the world does. So, yeah, hard to argue that. That's a great point that a lot of people forget about. Like, China was willing to give North Korea one, a bunch of them. But, yeah. Wow, they're like rocking out. For
Barracuda.
Huh?
Heart.
Maybe this was like coming into the current parade. Oh, we got a Green Beret right here. See that?
Yep.
What is that? You see that?
Yep. Green Beret.
That wasn't the Sergeant Major of the Army, though. I don't know who that was. Probably some general.
Animal Mother. Right on, Johnny Snow.
Derek Greenham, $5. No comment. Thank you, brother.
Simon Wagstaff, you're too kind. Hey, he was just a pope, but he was still a Marine, so let's give him props for that.
Looking a little chubby there, brother.
Yeah, pretty cool song, James.
Just a tad bit obese. Yeah, that's kind of what the military is in general.
USA, baby. That's what I like to see. People supporting their country, putting their country first.
Iron Maiden cover band.
USA.
Think I can get the real one?
Give me a bunch of ones for USA, guys.
We kind of cut off the whole announcing at the parade.
Well, yeah, it was Trump's birthday, too. Interesting. Army birthday and Trump's birthday.
Code Red, $10. Thank you, brother. This is where the real parade starts. I hope so. That was like kind of a cool nostalgia thing, but it's kind of weak so far.
Yeah, put a 240 on it. Right on, Paul. Put a freaking 240 on it. Arr!
How do you do an army parade with
762.
no truck? Tyler.
762 hell
That is
coming
a
at
great
you.
comment. Only the real one, only the real ones who served are gonna know what you mean by that shit. Oh, Kid Rock should have performed.
Striker, M1A1. It looks like. Is that like a little 75? No, it's a 155, isn't it?
Oh my God, what is going on with that guy? That dude is struggling. God damn. yeah, too much acid. That dude is balls to the wall on LSD for this parade for sure. Florida man.
Because Simon E, he was a commie, so he could do whatever he wanted. That's why. He's a piece of garbage globalist, so it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. That's funny. Gabe Owens, $5, no comment. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. All right, is there strikers? There we go. We're not going to talk. Why aren't we talking about all the global war on terrorism
saw the introduction of a range of new technologies on the battlefield. The 8-wheeled Stryker armored combat vehicle is the first new military vehicle to enter service in the U.S. Army since the Abrams tank back in the 1980s. The vehicle was developed to fill a gap in the Army's inventory between a lighter infantry and heavy armored unit. The Stryker armored combat vehicle enables the team.
Hey, just think if Sleepy Joe didn't spend billions of your dollars smuggling illegal alien criminals into our country, they probably could have afforded a better parade. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree.
Back in 2002 with the first Stryker Brigade combat team deploying.
Haven't won anything in the past 80 years. Why is there a celebration? What didn't we win? Name one conflict where we didn't achieve our strategic victory in the last 80 years. Name one. That we didn't achieve our strategic victory. Name one. You can't do it. It's just a stupid Democrat comment that never made any sense. Throw it out there and I'll fucking shit on you. Afghanistan? Okay, Afghanistan. What was the strategic goal of Afghanistan, guys?
Capture Osama bin Laden.
What was the strategic goal of Afghanistan? There was two. Anybody know? Two strategic goals.
And you ain't in it, Tom Shaw.
Well, opium, yeah, but...
Good seeing you, Tom.
OBL, remove Al-Qaeda. We did both by 2013. Okay, there you go. So, no, wrong. Name another one. Try again. Name another conflict we didn't win. We didn't win our strategic goals.
That's too bad, John.
Yes, we did.
Sure did, James.
We killed over a million Vietnamese. Pretty much stopped the spread of communism, and now there are McDonald's in Vietnam. We won. Name another one.
God, terrible marching. Jesus. What a disgrace. The Green Berets.
We protected South Korea. There's
what the hell is that?
Democracy right now. Nope, wrong.
With the likes of Daniel Boone and Abraham Lincoln in their ranks.
Nobody said Iraq yet, yeah? Why did we go to Iraq? Remove Saddam Hussein from power. We did that. Now, has there been second and third order effects that were not great after we've done these things?
Sure. The 75th Ranger Regiment, based out of Fort Bragg, North
Carolina,
the
Rangers.
Represents a lethal, agile, and flexible.
The Rangers are legit.
Oh, and Green Berets. There we go.
There you go.
About time.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Nothing but respect for Rangers and Green Berets.
All right, look at all these. Look at all these different berets. We got first group, 10th group, bunch of National Guard.
Happy birthday, Army. Thanks, EC.
God, look how much bigger all those Green Berets are than the Rangers.
Yeah.
You see that? Look how much fucking bigger the Green Berets are.
Well, because Rangers run all the time like
SF
Marines.
dudes are just fucking beasts, man.
Composed of 5 units with unique
Just fucking beasts, dude. Look how fucking fit everybody is.
Yeah.
Even the Rangers, right? Like, everybody is just fucking yoked.
Looks squared away.
Shape. That's the boys right there.
That's the difference between regular Army
Special Operations shit stomps
and the
fucking
high speed
anybody
units.
go to toe-to-toe with. Look at our goddamn soldiers.
I don't think so, Kay. It looks pretty disgusting.
fucking beasts, dude.
Yeah, they're huge. Really hard to keep that muscle on when you're running all the time, too.
All of them.
The Stryker Brigade Combat Team combines the
That's what it's all about right there.
rapid deployment with survivability.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, don't expect Rangers and Green Berets to know how to march, dude. Expect them to be fucking warfighters, which you can see that they are. Those are the goddamn Vikings of the U.S. Army.
They are, but they should still know how to do drill because it shows discipline and bearing.
They don't need to march.
Well, I disagree with that.
That's the one unit that doesn't need to fucking know how to march, I can promise you that.
International environment alone. Our network of allies and partners is
goddamn, dude. Like just watching a formation of Rangers and Green Berets walk by after what we've seen this entire time, just monsters.
Huge difference, right, guys?
Hell yeah, man.
They look intimidating as hell, but if they could march better, they'd look more intimidating.
I definitely missed some super chats as we were watching that one. We'll get back to that. Some Wukong.
That's true, Nicholas Castano. I'm sorry to hear that. I hate that too.
Correct. Code Red, $10 finally. Hell yeah. Oh, Senator Joni Ernst from Iowa. Okay. Kind of a random, like, shout out there, I guess. Kim Jong-un, who can vote my name. Nice. I bet he's watching this right now.
With its establishment as the 10th Light Division in July 1943.
Box though, $2. We lost the war to replace the goddamn M4. Yeah, I know. That's
training for fighting in mountainous conditions. After periods spent in active
celebrating the Army's birthday with fish and tacos, I nice.
The unit returned to its roots in 1984.
Those guys are jacked too. Who are those guys?
Division designation. In the 1990s, the division participated in
the worst marching I've ever seen.
Terrible marching.
During the war on terrorism, the 10th Mountain Division.
Look at this.
10th Mountain. There you go.
What is this? 10th Mountain? I don't care. I don't need infantry dudes to know how to march. It's whatever.
Since 2002, the 10th Mountain Division.
God.
Infantry boys are looking pretty good too, man.
They don't know how to march.
Army unit.
Not bad.
Combat brigades have seen over 20 deployments to both Iraq and Afghanistan.
Well, that's 10th Mountain, right? I mean, those guys are pretty legit.
Oh my god.
To show America's military might, they have one purpose: to deter war and, if ordered, defeat the enemies of the United States of America. They are the 10th Mountain Division.
All right, 10th Mountain. We got a lot of SF dudes from 10th Mountain, for sure.
Investments in cutting-edge systems,
10th Mountain's a really good unit, man. Like when
capabilities strengthen the
when I was in Afghanistan, a lot of time we'd have our uplift force were from 10th Mountain. Those dudes were hitters for sure.
8 Stryker Brigade combat teams.
Really good infantry.
I agree, Essie. I would have loved to have checked it out.
More than 2/3 of the 7,000 servicemen and women who sacrificed their lives fighting the global war on terrorism were part of one of the Army's 3 branches: active duty forces.
Well, music is my life. If Sleepy Joe hadn't spent billions on illegals, we could have spent a little more and had a proper parade.
Cut back to the Green Berets and 10th Mountain guys.
Rangers. This transformation is not
that's
just
nothing, Essie.
Mellow Yellow, $5.
35 million shit.
The finest military should look like. Hell yeah, I mean, it's fucking looking great. Can't march for shit, but that's alright. At least they look like fucking beasts. How many CCP spies?
Absolutely, Kate Cooper. I agree.
I mean, a few. You can watch this on YouTube, though, right? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Kim Jong-un says, respect for the 82nd Airborne, the 810. You tell Trump to come visit soon. We have soju and good time. Yeah, I mean, I think we might see North Korea reunify with South Korea in our lifetimes, guys. I think it's possible.
All right, and for those of you who are just joining us, I just want to show you the difference between the Marine Corps and our discipline. And I do disagree with Valhalla with respect to should high-speed units like Berets and Rangers be able to march well. Absolutely, they should be the best at drill of any of the other people in the Army, because showing your discipline and bearing to the civilian world is a huge thing. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you the difference, for those of you just joining us, between the Marine Corps, and these are just basic recruits in the Marines, so you can see the difference in bearing and discipline. If I am an enemy of this country and I see these guys coming at me, I'm going to know that these guys are a dangerous group of guys. Let's check it out. motivated right now. Damn. Cowards! That's my Marines. That's right, James. They mean business. Yeah, that's what's up. So you guys got to see it again, just for the guys joining me today. Freaking Marine Corps, man. That's why I disagree with Valhalla. I think the Green Berets and Rangers should be better at close order drill than any of their Army units, because that is what you're showing publicly to your enemies and to the civilian world, that you've got the bearing and discipline. And that's what I love about the Marine Corps. And then we really focus on drill because we want to put out that image. Don't mess with the USA. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Let's get back into the Army parade.
Iceman, $10. Thank you, brother. Heard the Marine Corps opted out of having a 250-day birthday parade.
And that's absolutely false, Tony. Marine Corps training is much more difficult, much more disciplined, much more bearing.
All right. That's kind of wild that for the entire global
of course,
war
James.
of terror,
Most people that know.
one little squad of Green Berets and Rangers. That's all they got. All right.
Chris, that was not a good step.
Yeah, Travis Pastrana backflipped a motorcycle over the top of me.
Yeah, that one dude. It's part of the discipline and bearing that makes you a soldier or a Marine.
I mean,
and the drill is what makes that happen.
Pigment side, he's like,
those
I really
unit cohesion and ability to follow orders.
Really fucking should, bro.
Puts the fear of God into your enemies.
He probably doesn't want me telling that story.
That's right, Wheeler. The toughest boot camp and the most disciplined and bearing of all the branches.
He's a nice dude.
That's right, Ice to see. That was just boot camp.
Again, man. I can't help it.
That was just boot camp, and they marched better than these seasoned veteran soldiers. Unstat.
We're celebrating.
Sorry to hear that, T-Trip.
On Hex's face, man.
Shout out to your father. Rest in peace.
I think Hex's looking at this being like, God damn, these fucking idiots can't march.
That's what I was thinking.
We should have fucking practiced more.
It's his fault. He's the DOD.
We definitely should have practiced more. That's all right.
Somebody pointed out most of them are
Trump's
National
happy.
Guard, so
Bologna's
that could be why.
The crowd's happy.
Right on, Joshua Tim.
Soldiers look happy. Not bad. Otis Smith, $5. Where the F is the Horse Warriors, a.k.a. badasses from 12 Strong Horse Soldiers? Yeah, we didn't really even talk about that, right? The fact that 2 ODAs pretty much completely...
Palantir, oh my God.
Boo! Really? Palantir sponsored this? Oh, God.
Surveilling the Americans like that, Palantir should be ashamed of itself.
I think it's funny because Palantir, we used Palantir like way before they were a public company and special operations. I'll tell you guys a little story about Palantir stock here in a second that you guys will like. Let me hit these super chats first. I'll tell you the story.
Right on, man.
Lumber Chef, $5. Thank you. Look, I always take a battalion of brick.
Yeah, long overdue, Pat. Finally, we have a parade for these guys and give them some morale after 4 years of woke DEI bullshit.
But sometimes if you're going to have military parade,
I agree.
It's kind of know how to march. Dana showed up to hand out some UFC contracts. Hopefully not to soldiers because, they can't fight for shit. So, Palantir went public like 2.5 years ago, guys. I bought like $15,000 in Palantir stock when it was at $7 a share, 2022. Because I was like, fuck, we use Palantir. I know how good their company is. Like, way before anybody knew what was going on with Palantir. And I ended up selling it all when Russia invaded Ukraine because the tech market crashed. And now Palantir. What is Palantir at now?
Ooh, it's high.
God, somebody put it in the chat.
I sold all mine too because they surveil Americans.
I lost on that, but it was an absolute shit ton. Fucking Palantir. It's at 130. So,
I agree with you. What's the matter? You? It's a shame.
So 15,000
It's great.
times almost 20. Yeah. Whoops. Whoopsies.
Today,
That's right.
the US Army's mission is
Oh,
to
modern army. Here we go. All right.
and win our nation's wars. How? By securing ready, prompt, and sustained land dominance by
Here we
armed
go.
forces
Modern
across the
army.
full
Let's hit these super
spectrum
chats
of
quick
the
before I miss them.
as part of the joint force.
Joseph Ring, $5. Could you imagine being on these two working parties? I'd be one of 22. My heart goes out to the boys hating their life right now. What do you mean working? Oh, working parties, like setting this thing up? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, thank you.
Nightmare.
I would not want to have to be a part of this.
No way.
I like watching it. Heck Tech, $10. Other countries may have more impressive marching displays in the United States, but that's not because they focus on parade style intimidation rather than actual combat capability. 100% correct. 100% true. We don't care about marching. We're good because we're into war fighting. This is a good point. But this is also why we don't do military parades.
Makes transportation for the U.S. Army a very
Proper drill
vital
shows good order and discipline, so I disagree with him on that.
Numerous fighting vehicles, some
What do we got
designed
here?
for very specific functions and others for flexibility, but they all must be maintained. With over 200,000 trucks alone, wheeled vehicle mechanisms
tell what that is.
ensure that the fleet of vehicles are ready, and these mechanics get the job done. This
It's like maybe
convoy
a
starts with the
anti-aircraft
M777, a
radar?
lightweight howitzer. These
Howitzer.
lightweight howitzers may not look particularly lightweight.
Iceman,
but are
$5.
made
Mike
from
Waltz was too busy planning an
They are
assassination.
7,000
Deployed
pounds
the
lighter
G-Watt.
than
Oh
the
yeah, I'm not a big fan
predecessor,
of that guy
the
yet.
old M198.
This point
Used by the
expecting,
Army
I
since
brought to you by
2005, the
Waylon
M777
Yutani.
is
I don't know
currently
who that
being used
is.
in Ukraine. Weighing only 4,700
155?
pounds, the M119 howitzer is smaller and is used by infantry brigades. Particularly
Finish what you're about to say on the 12, like 12 strong?
It was first used in Operation Desert Shield and
that
Desert
basically
Storm in
two Special
1991.
Forces ODAs
Is also
completely
seeing
overthrew the
active
entire
use
country
in
of
Ukraine.
Afghanistan. 24 guys. Probably should have given a shout out to them for that, but whatever.
The 7th Infantry Division stationed at Joint Base Lewis McChord has been seeing
Joint Base
continuous
Lewis
combat action ever
McChord.
since activation in World War I.
I Corps, baby.
USA, baby. Right on, James.
Japan, Korea, Afghanistan, and the Pacific. The Bayonet Division boasts a proud history of answering the call of its motto, "Trust in Me." With
Where's all the
dedication.
Delta dudes, man? Where's the
Sent to
Delta
deployments
Rangers?
and conflicts
Delta
around the globe
Rangers.
since
Come on.
it was founded, the division returned to Fort Lewis in 1971.
Come
its
on,
first
guys.
time on American
Show me some
soil
Delta Rangers.
Since 1934. The 7th Division, originally called the
I need some
Hourglass
Delta
Division due to
Rangers.
their patch design, gained the nickname Bayonet Division. Bayonet
Why Green
Division
Berets more
during
out of
their
shape than
deployment
Rangers?
to
They
Korea
weren't. Sorry,
in
dude.
June
Did you not see that?
Yeah, they look pretty
Those
squared
Green
away.
Berets were twice as jacked as every Ranger there. They picked like all the most big jacked Green Berets they could find for that. That's not even comparable in this parade.
The 7th enabled
God, that marching is
sustains
awful.
the combat
Jeez.
readiness of two
Embarrassing.
brigade combat teams
Looks like he's chewing
and
bubble
combat
gum, smoking and
aviation
joking.
brigade.
Hung Chow, $5. Hung Cow. Should we be stoked to go on war on behalf of Iran? Well, we're not going on behalf of Iran. We're going to war against Iran, most likely. On behalf of Israel? I don't know. Probably not. Not great. I don't think it's great.
With the American soldier, the cornerstone of everything the Army does, we are continuously transforming. Army careers
That's
span
a
the spectrum
Chinese
from
spy right
attorneys
there.
to astronauts and mechanics to
Come on,
engineers.
you're not going to fool me,
The
dude.
Army's greatest asset is our people.
Come on.
The finest men and women our great nation has to offer.
Come
with a myriad of talents that make us strong.
Come on, guys.
Aside from its people, the Army's next greatest asset
what the hell's
is
going
its
on?
technology and equipment. Coming up next, these vehicles offer a glimpse of what the Army employs for readiness and battle. The portable howitzers and the portable
And this is the modern
Abrams
army.
tank
All I've seen so far is just
extensively
this is just more global war on
Bradley
terror
Yeah.
stuff.
You want
infantry
stuff.
squad vehicle. The ISV provides enhanced
Show me some
tactical
F-35s.
mobility of
Show-
an
show me some
infantry
new tech.
brigade combat team.
Well, that's Air
Show me a
Force, dude.
Moab.
Come on.
Commanders
Roll a
greater
Moab
freedom
down the
of
street.
movement and action.
Sheriff Force.
The ISV provides
Oh,
the
there's another one.
warfighter with increased flexibility to ensure infantry
Look at that
units
guy.
maintain momentum to
I hope they don't
achieve
fucking
mission
notice me.
success.
Nobody notices me. I'm just gonna.
Oh, that's true, Johnny Snow.
Nobody look this way. Yeah, this is.
Hell yeah, James. Me too, brother. I love my fellow Americans, and I would die for anybody
Tony
in this
Riggs, $2,
country
thanks, brother.
who stands tall for the
Mo
flag.
doesn't need to get in step. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen at this point, bro. The band is the only ones that can march. Oh, yeah, the kids love it, though.
Right on, Pat Evans.
Don't let's fool anyone. We got boots on decks. There's no one that goes toe-to-toe with us in any shape or form. Yeah, not actually militarily, for sure. We can't march, but Aquafresh shows mechanized combat donkeys. We used to use those, well, horses and donkeys in Afghanistan. Sun Kong, $5. Question: multicam design doesn't seem to have be too different one. The M81 design, why not have the modern camis with that design? I think it would look better. I don't know, man. Who knows how the military decides what to do with their uniforms? The fact that ACU pattern ever existed.
Well, I appreciate that, F, but it's my duty, it's my honor to serve my fellow Americans.
My allergies are killing me. Be right back.
That's true, I see. First Cav. Yeah, I found out recently that First Cav is no longer First Air Cav. Tells you how much I know about the Army, right? That's right, Pat Evans, exactly. Yeah, me too, Chris Doggett. They really need to learn how to march
Duty
better.
calls, U.S. Army soldiers don't just
Terrible.
answer, they lead. From Fort Bragg, witness a powerful demonstration of strength, purpose, and the unmatched capability of today's Army.
The Army has made me see my potential, and I feel like it's molded me into a better
Irish
person.
pendants, unset.
I grew up in a very patriotic household. My grandfather, he served in World War II, and his brother.
Unset
served
haircut,
in Vietnam.
undisciplined
I can do this.
haircut.
If they can do this, I can do this.
When I was born, my dad was still serving in the military, and him coming home,
what
in
happened?
his uniform. How do I do that?
Look like civilians. What's going on, man?
I think it
What is
follows
this?
in line. I think with what my family's done is kind of a sense of duty to serve our country and give back since it's given us so much.
Oh, it's a commercial?
I'm a very, let's say, timid person, but definitely helped me become a more confident
Oh, like an
person.
Army commercial?
Working with a group
Oh,
of my
God.
peers, it really shows how much working with a team can strengthen you.
All right, ready to go? Ready to go? I derive a lot of purpose from serving others. I think serving something bigger than myself gets me out of bed every day. Thank you, power up, keep
Okay.
I definitely
God.
pushed myself further than I ever thought I could go.
Hey, I'm getting bored with this one too, I'll be honest.
I joined the military service because I want to deploy. That's my main goal, is deploy, deploy, deploy.
If we get the call, we have to go somewhere, we'll do what needs to be done. That's just the way we operate here.
Airborne.
Stunning DEI queens, yeah, always do.
Is that right, Chris?
They can't.
This
They
is
can't
one of the
fucking
few
help
jobs
themselves.
in the nation where we all take an oath to say I'm willing to put my life on the line for you, and they're willing to put their life on the line for me.
That's what it's all about, that camaraderie, that brotherhood.
This is what we train for. This is what we want to do. My team leaders and squad leaders, they know exactly what to do. Check equipment, check weapons, check ammo.
Yeah, I got you, what's
That's
up?
a super chat earlier from Jason Diamond.
We're always ready
$50.
to
Thank you.
deploy within
Delta will come
18
out in
hours
Oakleys and mustaches,
handle the
90s.
mission.
All right, guys. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I love my military. I love my soldiers, especially I love my fellow Marines. But I was not impressed with the military protocol or the marching in this parade. But I still support my military and the men and women who are willing to risk their lives and support their country come hell or high water. Now, listen, it is Father's Day, so I do need to get out with my family today. I didn't even know it was Father's Day. That's how ridiculous it is, right? Because I just assume every day is a Father's Day. It's my job to take names for my family and put food on the table. I do appreciate all the super chats and everybody who came out to support Team MPE today. Again, I'm attorney Michael Ehline. I've got about 20 years in practice as a lawyer. I primarily specialize in catastrophic injury cases. I primarily help veterans who have been in catastrophic motorcycle accidents involving buses, FedEx trucks, UPS trucks, stuff like that. I also have a military veterans nonprofit where I raise money for people with service-related cancer who have been exposed to toxic chemicals in the military and then lied to by their command and by politicians that everything was safe and effective. And I stand up for military personnel and veterans who are getting railroaded by their command. But today was a special day for me, even though I'm not Army, I'm Marine Corps, just to be able to celebrate with my brothers in arms and see those Green Berets and Army Rangers. Man, I really love those guys. If I was ever going to join the Army, those are the only two units that I would want to be in, to be honest. And I just, in conclusion, wanted to say that the president is commander-in-chief, and the Secretary of Defense, they play prominent ceremonial roles at military parades, all right? They're supposed to symbolize civilian authority over our armed forces, and their participation involves presiding and reviewing troops and adhering to civilian etiquette, such as wearing proper attire and showing respect. And in this particular case, I was not impressed with Pete Hegseth, I'll be honest. I just didn't see it. He was not standing in review alongside the commander-in-chief. I was not impressed with President Trump's salute. That was ridiculous. It reminded me of F Troop, if you guys have ever watched F Troop when you were growing up. I'm a little older, but any of you guys ever watch F Troop? Remember those guys? It was a great show. One of my favorites. We had black and white TVs when I was growing up to show you what a relic I am. Like the big TV, you know what I mean, with the tubes, the vacuum tubes. So I was not that impressed, but I also do Second Amendment rights. My background is in appellate law, criminal defense, and civil rights. I believe that less government is more freedom, and I'm a civil libertarian. I don't support either political party. I believe that they're both bought and paid for, lock, stock, and barrel by the banksters. I believe we need to abolish the Federal Reserve System, return our country back to a tariff-based economy, abolish the income tax, because I don't believe the government has any business knowing how much money you earn, nor do they have any business taxing it. And that is my position. Give me a bunch of ones if you're aligned with me. Give me a bunch of twos if you think I'm a racist, bigot, and a homophobe for disagreeing with the Marxist Communist Democrat Party and the Republican and name-only Republican Party. And so with that being said, I'm going to just look and see if there's any questions that I can answer. And again, I do appreciate Chevy showing up today and buying memberships, and James Forbes's donations to the channel really means a lot to me, guys. It's not easy for me to do these shows and still run a law firm. So any donations always help. And if you want to learn a little bit about me and how I became a lawyer, you can go to the description on my YouTube channel and just click on it. And you can get a copy of my journey to becoming a practicing lawyer with no law degree or undergrad. Click on the PayPal link. It's $19.99, and you can get a digital version of that. I'll get it out to you as soon as I can. I'm just having a problem with PayPal right now because somebody hacked into my PayPal account. But I'm going to get it to you, I promise. And it's a great book. It talks about the different states that offer law office study programs where you can become a lawyer the traditional way without going to some Marxist-run college run by a bunch of commie libs. And so I teach people how to do that. And I primarily help inactive Marines who are veterans to try to help find work when they get out of the military, when they're still going through culture shock. And I help people who are suffering from PTSD, and as well as I have friends who help them with their VA claims. I don't do the VA claims, but I'm a 70% disabled, inactive U.S. Marine. I'm all about my country having secure borders, only allowing legal citizens to vote, no free welfare, no free phones, no free hotels to illegal aliens who snuck across our border to help the Democrats redistrict the entire country blue using the U.S. Census. What a scam that is. Get them out of here and let them come back the legal way, the same way that my family did, the same way that my wife did just recently. so they can learn about their country, learn about patriotism, understand our common law republic way and the way we do business in the United States, and not try to bring their Roman civil law democracies into our country. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. And with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save. Hey, thank you, Rami, for showing up today, brother. I really appreciate it, man. Make sure to save. And thank you, Wasamata. As you guys will notice, a lot of my moderators don't agree with me politically. And that's okay because they believe in natural law, that our rights come from God, not the government, right? We believe that our rights come from the Creator, not from the state. We're not communists. We're not atheists. And so because of that, everybody pretty much has a free say on here unless they're a commie scumbag who just likes to cause trouble. But with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. Semper Fi, do or die. God bless you guys. Happy Father's Day to all you dads who decided to stay with your families for the greater good. Talk to you soon, guys.